Alrighty, here we go. All right. I think it's working here. All right, hello everybody. Welcome aboard. Oh, we got the light not working over here. Now it just turned off. There we go. Now we got this working. There's always something. There's always something. Alrighty, guys. Okie dokie. Welcome aboard. It is your host and founder of this wild ride, Demetriusville. It has been a little bit. It has been a little bit. Let me see if you guys can hear me on. Okay, can't hear you on YouTube. All right, let's restarting here on Discord. Can hear on YouTube but not on Discord. This is the Discord thing. I don't know why it does this. Every single time we have to do this. All right. End stage. How did the call go? It sucked. What did you have trouble with? Nothing. Nothing worked. Okay. Okay. How do I skip this thing? Let me out. Goodness. Okay, guys. All right. Hope you guys are doing well. While I set this up over on Discord land, I hope everybody on YouTube land is having a good job, or having a good time, because Discord isn't having a good time. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead, start this again. Stream attempt 2. All right. So things are going to be a little bit different tonight. So I'm going to be on Alistair's stream at around 9 o'clock. I'll let you guys know how that works out, because it's gonna be pretty fun. It's gonna be a good discussion. I've been talking about it for a bit, so finally had time to do it. The stars finally aligned. Baby's getting taken care of today, so it's been good. All right, now we're good on both sides. Thank goodness. All righty, and let's go ahead and get the YouTube chat on here. I already thought I had this all done, but hey, you know, I'm a one-man band over here with the help of you guys, but things cannot get done without the help of everybody else. So I'm so glad that you guys are on here today. So we're going to have a little bit of a good time. So for about an hour while we're here, or at least for the next 58 minutes, I'm just going to go through some quick news and then just let you guys on. And we can just chat about whatever till the end of the hour. And then I will be on probably on Alistair's Discord. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but I will improvise, adapt, and overcome as usual. So we'll go ahead and figure that out, or unless he's going to come over here, but it will be maybe a chat between us two and probably his audience. But I will still have things running on YouTube so you guys can be able to hear, and I may just come back over here. We'll see how it all goes out. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. By the way, didn't you enjoy the circus is 100% sugar-free, and it is the bread is 100% sugar-free, and the circus is sponsored by DraftKings. So UFC 250, Freedom 250. As you guys know, I'm a big combat sports fan, so of course I had to watch it. Did I pay for it? Can never confirm or deny, but I mean, hey, it's Paramount Plus, so I mean, at this point, at least you don't have to pay $120 or whatever. But anyway, I thought it was cool. Look, at this point, you just gotta enjoy whatever stupidity is coming along. I just found it kind of weird that every single fight ended in a TKO or KO, but hey, it's been kind of talked to death. But I mean, this was cool. This picture was cool, so putting that up over there. I mean, if you guys want to talk more about it, I won't talk your ear off about it. Pretty disappointed by the Ilya Topuria fight. All he had to do was bring his shell up just a little bit more. So he wouldn't get his right eye busted about. But anyway, I'm not going to get too much into it. So anyway, but apparently we have a peace deal. If it stays that way. So let's see what's going on with that. So let's see what happens with this whole Iran war. I mean, it's been at least, according to Tucker Carlson, 38 different times that we've had a quote-unquote peace deal. So who knows? Maybe our money will stop being funneled over to stupid, useless wars in the Middle East that just cause death and destruction, and maybe they can be, I don't know, brought back over here to fix our own infrastructure. By the way, hey, Big Boy has been making the rounds. I really have been enjoying just seeing the stuff from Big Boy. This has been just fun to watch, seeing 4014 go across the country, all the shenanigans, the drones that it's shooting down, all the crowds acting like a bunch of lunatics. But hey, come on, you got to enjoy it. I mean, this is one of the biggest machines on the planet. Going across the country. It is incredible to watch. Okay. And just to see, it's something from a different time. I mean, look at this. This is just cool. That is just such a treat to see. Going through Wilkes-Barre, Pittston area, that is... Oh, man. Hey, okay, you guys gotta hear this. That is freaking cool. That is pretty cool. Alrighty, we'll keep going on through here, but yeah, we do live, I mean, just look at this. I mean, we live in an entirely different country. By the way, this viaduct, built in 1915, once the largest concrete bridge in the world. The Big Boy 14 was built in 1941, weighs 1.2 million pounds. Again, talking about how our infrastructure, I mean, we're living on the bones of an old country over here. A better country, so to say. I mean, this is incredible. By the way, this drone did not die. The other drones that have been hit by the Big Boy, the drones keep hitting the Big Boy. I mean, the Big Boy cannot go ahead and hit the drones. So this is like the Brightline question. Is Brightline killing people? No. So, hey, look at that. That is cool. Eat your heart out, Harry Potter. This is, they go to American Hogwarts, they don't have, wands, they have, AR-15s and 1911s. Sounds frickin' based, am I right? There we go. That is pretty crazy. Oh, here's another tidbit. The Big Boy produces roughly twice the horsepower of the SD-70 ACE. Diesel-electric locomotive that is the fourth car in that train. Not bad for something designed and built 80 years ago. Oh, man, we just don't build them like they used to. Just for a lot of things. Including trains. But, particularly here in this country, I mean, there's just a lot going on. By the way, things that we can't catch up with. Apparently Japan has introduced the Shinkansen Supreme class. There's a Supreme class now. Used to have the green class, which is like their first class, which had a big, nice, comfy chair that reclined and all that sort of stuff. Well, now you can finally get a room, a private room on the Shinkansen for the low price of $200, which, I mean, comparatively to here in the United States, I mean, you'll be stuck on Southwest Airlines on the Scum class to go for a one-way trip to Boomerville, Florida. I mean, this is a steal of a deal on a Japanese Shinkansen. I mean, look at that. You get your own room. And then for like, 100 yen more? I'm sorry, not 100 yen more. $100 more. 100 yen's like $1, maybe. It's less than $1 right now. I think the exchange rate is like 80 cents, if anything. I don't know. Hello, everybody. Hello, Gregor. Hello, Adam. Hello, Brian Rock Rail fan. Let me go ahead and send this stream over to a couple other people who, if you don't, like, there's just some people, if you don't send them the stream link, they just forget that it's even happening. So, yeah, they got to do that too. So, anyway, guys, alrighty, let me just go ahead and make sure. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny that, you know, Japan can do this. And look, comparatively, when I've been on the Shinkansen, the price is not that bad. And the thing is that you do have the option. If you want to take a plane, you can take a plane. If you want to take a bus, you can take a bus. If you want to rent a car, you can rent a car. If you want to take a slower train, you can take a slower train. If you want to take a slower Shinkansen, you can take a slower Shinkansen. If you want to take the fastest Tokaido Shinkansen, only stops at all the major stops, you can do that too. The whole point of having this is having options for people. You know, the whole thing that, oh, America is freedom because you can drive. No, that's financial slavery. That is being forced to take a loan because the big three have nothing else to do, can't innovate. So they're forcing you to buy these $100,000 Ford Expedition. I mean, they're not forcing you, but this is their business model right now, is trying to sell people, you know, $100,000 Jeep Wranglers and Ford Expeditions and F-250s. These isekai machines that will run over Caleb and Crystal in the suburban division that is getting built like in the last 5 years that destroyed a cornfield. That's what we're running at with right now. So I mean, something's got to change. Something's got to give. There's got to be something to do. Let me see. Yeah, of course the baby's being taken care of every day. How I got to also tell the wife. I mean, she doesn't understand that was a joke. Come on, that was of course a joke. Come on, of course the baby's being taken care of every day. Come on. Okay. But anyway, alrighty guys, let me just go ahead and send this over Hope everybody's having a good day though. Let's see. Here we are. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting that China can. Sorry, not China, Japan. China has also this sorts of things as well. I mean, again, China can go ahead and build out more than twice the mileage of the entire world combined high-speed rail within a span of 15 years. Wow, we can't really do much of anything over here. Let me see. Speaking of boomers, because I know Georgi Zukov is going off on boomers. Well, we're going to be talking a good about. When do we not talk about boomers? When do we not talk about boomers? Any single day at this, every time we do this sort of stuff. I mean, we have a nuclear energy button. We also need to have a well, we do have the boomer button. Every time we press it, we get demonetized. Though it's always funny. We press any button, we don't get demonetized. We press the Margaritaville button, and it's almost instant demonetization. I have to go in afterwards onto the channel to take off or mute the section that has Margaritaville if it gets monetized. Okay, so I don't get 5 cents later on after YouTube's cut. Whoop-de-doop-de-doo. But yeah, that's kind of the thing with every time we do that. And speaking of, let me get my soundboard up. I know it's been a little quiet. Where is my soundboard here? There we go. We'll start up. Yeah, okay. Again, a little rusty. It's been 2 weeks since we've done a live stream. So, again, work's been busy. Everything's been busy. Helping to take care of the kid and giving my wife a break here and there when I can. So, yeah, just, again, this is what happens when you have a family. So, I've been enjoying it. The kid is absolutely adorable. Love spending time with Paul. He's super smart, incredible kid. Can't wait to see how he grows up and just spending every day with him. I mean, it's been really a blast, honestly. Fatherhood has been great. Parenthood has been really great. It's just, wow. Really just incredible that here's this little being that now you're taking care of, and, you know, he smiles at you, and sometimes he makes a mess, but I mean, you can't blame him. He doesn't know what the heck he's actually doing. So, I mean, it's fun. I mean, really do, I'm really enjoying it. So, let me see if we can start that up. I don't know if it's actually starting up for a voice mod here. Let's go. Come on. Okay. Let's see if it's actually starting up this time around. Alrighty. There we go. Okie dokie. Alrighty. There we go. Now voice mod starting up. Oh, installing an update. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, so here's an interesting thing. A post from June 18, 2026 highlighted this gap with data showing U.S. home prices rising $550 since 1980, while incomes grew 370%, pushing the median price-to-income ratio from 3.6 times to nearly 5 times. Supply shortages from underbuilding, zoning laws adding 24% to costs, and investor purchases worsened the crunch, especially in high-cost areas like Connecticut, where medians jumped from under $100,000 to $445. Oh, dear. Why did this thing just jump out of the way? There we go. Voice mod isn't working for some reason. Okay, there we go. Now it's working. Boomers recalled 18% mortgage rates and inflation struggles, yet younger buyers face student debt and need dual incomes just to compete. Millennials own homes at 55% versus boomers 80%. Zoning reforms in places like Texas offer hope for more supply. Let's see. Who knows? Let's see. Okay, hope you guys can still hear me over on Discord. This thing just started, so let's see if this works. So just testing. Let's see. All right, that's working. But yeah, this is kind of again, this is the same sort of stuff we've been talking about. I know we can go talk about boomers all we can, but I'm gonna probably leave that if the topic comes up about boomers, which it probably will. During the discussion. Come 9 o'clock when Alistair comes on, so we'll go into that. Speaking of wastes of money, so you guys, of course, as you know, we spend a hell of a lot more than most other countries to build any sort of transit projects here in the United States. Of course, probably the worst offense to this is the 2nd Avenue subway. New York spent 18 times what Madrid spent per mile on the 2nd Avenue subway. Over the same period, California failed to build 150 miles of high-speed rail. It has not built one single darn mile, not one bit. There are no trains after close to 15 years after the... Actually, no. It's been close to actually 18 years. I believe 18 years. Yeah, 18 years since the bill was signed in 2008. Am I mathing correctly here? Am I mathing correctly here? Okay, now I gotta actually confirm this. 2026 minus 2008. Yes, 18 years. Okay, yeah, it has been 18 years. The bill is now that the bill can legally, well, used to be able to legally smoke, but can legally go off to die for the greatest ally now. So the proposition that California went ahead and passed to build high-speed rail in California is now old enough to go die for the greatest ally. Meanwhile, California has not built a single line of high-speed rail. Nothing has actually been built. I'm telling you, after seeing how much it's been spent over the rail delivery, RDP consultants, whatever else, all that sort of BS, the $666 million that have gone unaccounted for, apart from the rest of billions of dollars. At this point, it's a money laundering scheme. That's what it is. It is not there to actually build high-speed rail. It is there to take advantage of the goodwill of people, to build something, or to pretend to build something that people actually want, and then take advantage for them as much as possible. That's what the California High-Speed Rail Project is. That's, at this point, there's no other good reason of what it is. But here, Will Poff Webster, that is his name, Poff. Poff Webster. He did the introduction for this whole thing of how to fix transit construction in America. And it's a lot of the same stuff that we've been talking about for years. Of course, a lot of the same similar names are in there. Alan Levy, along with a whole bunch of other names you guys know as well, and I know. Let's see. Brian Potter's in there, Alan Levy, Anthony Potts. Let's see who else is in here. Hayden Clarkin is in there. Andrew Miller, Paul Lewis. A whole bunch of people who are in the transit, minus yours truly, because yours truly is kind of at this point knows that the only way we can actually build infrastructure is to actually make it a priority. It doesn't matter at this point. This is all the stuff that should be. Yeah, this is all given. Yes, reform funding to encourage early transit planning. I'm not poo-pooing these guys. Not one bit. Stop paying more for less transit. Focus capital investment grants on improved project delivery. Reduce needless bus customization, eliminate redundant subway cross passages. We should know how much transit components cost. Again, you'd be surprised how much, and this is not just the thing in the transit industry, this is throughout all of government, where something, and I've been in this because when I worked at Cummins for the defense industry, and seeing how the defense industry works when it comes to buying these components, like for the engines for the Bradleys, the same components for the same engine for any other vehicle would be 10 times less the cost than what Cummins would sell to the U.S. government. Because you basically have a blank check that you can go ahead and send on over to the U.S. government. They put whatever that you want, a rubber stamp on there. You want them to pay $500 for a filter that's actually $20. Sure thing, buddy. Send that away. So yeah, that's, again, very much something. I know people don't like to talk about cost. It's a very boring thing, but you'd be surprised how bad it is, how absolutely horrible it is. Which is, again, a lot of this money gets scuffled away. It gets put into pockets that shouldn't be put into. So yeah, get the best value in transit procurement. Again, requiring agencies to select the cheapest contracts ends up costing more. Yeah, select the right contracts. Usually the cheaper contracts, the cheapest contracts tend to be the contracts that we're going to win, and then they end up being the most expensive. So yeah, use AI to improve transit planning. I mean, at this point, if you're not using AI while everybody else is, you're losing out at this point. And we can talk about that and all the data centers and everything. Transit projects need a single decision maker. Gee, I think at this point, I think the country needs a single decision maker at this point. I don't think it's just transit projects. I think we're at that point right now. Let agency, and by single decision maker, I mean we need a good one, because it doesn't matter, again, doesn't matter what type of a political system that we have, whatever ism that we have in charge. If we have bad people in charge, you're gonna get bad results. Simple as. It is. Permitting. Let agencies do their own environmental review. Again, very the EPA studies and EIS studies that take 3 years, take more time to do these EIS studies than it actually takes to build these projects. Absolutely something needs to get done. Fast track, democratically approved transit projects. Again, California, 18 years since the proposition to build high-speed rail has passed. Not one single working line. And it probably may not ever will. Let transit agencies buy land. Close America's transit automation gap. Put transit staff in charge of their own projects. Loans can stabilize transit funding. Share the truth about transit project failures. Yeah, again, all of this is just plain stuff that we've known about and talked about for a while. I mean, now it's this. At least look, this is good. This is good, and I'm glad that the IFP is doing this to put this all together into one single repository that you guys can go ahead and look at. And these are good ideas. These are good ideas. But again, the one thing to encompass, all of this means bunk if we don't have the right people in charge. I've been saying this over and over again. This is great. This is fine. This is actually, if you've been in this space for such a long time, common sense. It is common sense that we should be doing all these. All of these are great ideas. Fantastic ideas. Great. Wonderful. It all doesn't mean a damn thing if we can't get the right people in charge. If we can't change the system and get rid of the old guard that has been taking advantage of this country for quite a long time. And we can't build anything. Now, time is ticking for the people in charge, literally and figuratively for them, in a number of ways. So, yeah, while things start to fall apart, because this country is basically falling apart, I mean, it's funny when, terrorists say, like, oh, we're going to attack America's infrastructure. It's like, you don't need to. Probably a building's going to collapse at some point just by itself because it hasn't been inspected. Oh, look, just happened over in Florida a couple years ago. Bridge is probably going to collapse at some point. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing you can really do. We're at this point, we are further terrorist attack proofed because our infrastructure is already failing for us. So it's a matter of time. At this point, we just got to build our own. Speaking of stupid costs, Minnesota, man. I mean, this place is out of control. Okay? Yeah, I know the Somalian leering centers. Yeah, again, that's just the tip of the iceberg. No way in heck those Somalians figured that out by themselves. Okay? Again, somebody is skimming up all the cream from the top over here. It's not just, the Somalians living in, giant McMansions that they were able to go ahead and scam off the government. They learned that from somebody here, and somebody is making a good amount of money off of it too. Estimated cost of the Blue Line light rail extension jumps to nearly $3.6 billion. Do you know how much the Second Avenue subway which was just talked about over here cost? It costs about $2.5 billion. We're talking about Minneapolis, Minnesota, to build a light rail line. $3.2 billion. An estimated for the whole project, $3.58 billion. A 13-mile link, 13 miles, $336 million. This is insane that we are spending this much. It's not that we're spending this much. This much is being stolen to build basically another light rail line that is going to stop at red lights. A light rail line that is not going to act like an actual light rail line. It's going to act like a bus. I don't need to go ahead any further into that. It just sucks. They only use AI pictures, though, for transit topics. Yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, look, this is all AI slop pictures. I mean, I get it. You gotta make these articles and make them quick. Yeah, I don't see anything over here that explains that this was actually built or created by a person, because if you look at this, this is obviously not the perspective that a normal human being would draw this. That is definitely AI. That's AI, that's AI, that's AI, that's AI. Yeah, and I get it. Look, there are better ways to use AI other than making video and picture slop. I get it. Because I'm using AI a lot right now for data architecture, and believe me, it is a hell of a lot better than manual entry. It beats manual entry so much. It beats building your own Python codes to read through a whole bunch of Excel sheets and OCR PDFs so much more. It is extremely helpful in that regard, by far. Yeah. So I mean, and using AI to go through, let's say, sharing the facts and truth about transit project failures. Okay, that sort of stuff is going to be really helpful to go in, and you can take, I don't know, the same 2018 audit that the California government. I mean, for the federal government to talk about auditing California, there's no need. The California already audited themselves. They say, yeah, the project's wasting a lot of money. Okay, well, are you going to do something about it now? Unfortunately, there's just nothing we can do about it. Well, we have all this evidence of fraud and billions of dollars wasted, but oh, gee, look at the time. It's time to do nothing. Guess we can't do anything about all the fraud going on. But yeah. Now I know a lot of the foreigners now coming in to enjoy the other spectacle. I mean, there's been a lot of spectacles going on in the United States. You know what? Whatever, fine. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the show. I mean, it's what else are you gonna do at this point? I mean, it's what's funny. If you guys were watching UFC 250, I think it was Paul Logan was having some sort of event or whatever right before, and then everybody there was cheering for Sean Strickland to come up. Now, if you guys don't know, Sean Strickland is very against just a lot of us over the greatest ally that tends to keep getting us into a lot of unneeded conflicts. Let's put it that way. And he's also very aware of the Epstein files and the Epstein class. So, of course, apparently, the current middleweight champion of the UFC was banned from attending a UFC event. He is one of only 2 American champions. And for an American event, and the American middleweight champion in the UFC was banned from attending an American UFC event because he criticized a foreign country. But everybody on the stage or off the stage in the crowd was cheering for him. So it's like people know this. It's like, yeah, they know things suck. They know exactly who's doing it, but at this point they're just kind of enjoying it, which is kind of indicative of where we are at this point in a demoralized country. Is that people just kind of I don't know, at this point they're so clonked out. They're doom spending. They're just kind of just doom watching stuff. And at this, you can't blame people. You can't. So yeah, let the foreigners enjoy, eating Raisin Canes. I mean, the videos are interesting to watch. Having ribs for the first time, or steaky, as the Japanese call it, or having barbecue. It's fun to watch. If you guys want to see any of those videos, I mean, send them my way. I've seen so many of them. I was gonna put like a whole bunch of that stuff. I said, you know what, forget it. But yeah, we just again. Would have been nice if this was our country still right now, instead of the construction of nowhere over here, building what's the book called again? Hold on a second. It's the geography of nowhere. That can be anywhere. That can be anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. Mojave Motel. I mean, while it's raining, I don't know. It's called Mojave Motel, but it looks a little too wet to be the Mojave. So I don't know. Anyway, guys, all right, let's just keep on going over here. Let's finish out this news, and then let's bring people on, and we'll give like 30 minutes or so for people to talk over here. Brightline. Actually, maybe we should just make that the topic. We can just talk about what's going on with Brightline over here. We'll skip this with what's going on over with Penn Station. And LA's been having a good amount of success, though, with their new D-line. A lot of people have been actually using that, and it's actually gotten a lot of good usage during the World Cup. So again, people want transit. Transit actually works. We said it before. I don't have to say it again. But it seems that Brightline is deferring their payment, the loan payment again. Which, you know what? Yeah, again, I said that. Do whatever you can to either pay the absolute minimum or push it around or not pay it at all. You know how many of these companies have gotten away with basically nothing. With how the airlines have gotten away with $50 billion just given to them. Just give it to them. They held the country during COVID for ransom. Basically held the country for ransom like a Metal Gear Solid villain, and said, we want $50 billion or we're going to go ahead and lay off a whole bunch of employees. Spoiler alert, they laid off a bunch of employees anyway, after receiving said $50 billion plus dollars. GM has never and will never pay back its bailout money. So for this sort of hypocritical calamity to befall on Brightline, Again, it's super hypocritical. Why? It's actually working. Look at that. Ridership is up 21%. Orlando, Miami. 19% up. West Palm to Miami. Total percentage 20% up. Average revenue is up 23%. For ancillary revenues up 66%. Okay, it's making money. Total revenue has gone up 33%. So I mean, according to these numbers, they're making progress. They're making progress. Okay, every other private corporation that you know about, all the biggest ones, Tesla, has took them like 20 years to make back all their money. So I mean, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from the people who said, "Oh, Brian was going to do." No, we knew it was going to do that. And then with on top of the coup happening, of course it was going to push back the success of Brightline. That's just how way things are. That's it. So yeah, you know what? Too bad. Brightline should do whatever they can in order to push this back. And it seems that Miami-Dade is going to also help out here. Pending a taxpayer-funded deal with financially strapped Brightline in order to go ahead and build a coastal link. Yeah, but finally the taxpayer money, the half-penny tax, is actually going to be used for something in Miami. Finally. Or the other taxes that Miami's been paying. People in Miami have been paying. Yeah. Do it. I don't, at this point, who cares? It's really ridiculous. All right. Let's bring everybody on board here. We got like 30 minutes or so let's just have full-on chaos until then. You guys run the show until the next part of the show begins. Good evening.
How's everybody doing?
It's the chaos show. Then.
All right.
I got some good news.
Yeah, we got some rambling to do. Over
Chaos
here.
for the chaos god, I guess.
Can I announce some good news? Can I announce some good news?
I got rambling for you.
All right.
Dump trucker, can I?
We got ramble. We got ramble here.
I know.
Okay, who's got a ramble? All right, so one at a time. I know David always goes first all the time, so you know what? Dump trucker goes first this time. Let's just let's make it a little chaotic today. Dump trucker.
Dump trucker. Are you? You've seen the sports news, haven't you?
I've seen plenty of sports news, but which sports news in particular are you
the
talking about?
Texas Tech of the Brandon Sorsby situation.
The what?
That whole Brandon Sorsby situation that happened.
Okay, that I'm not too familiar with.
The dude gambled and bet on his own team.
What?
He bet gambling on his own team. I don't know if he win or lose, but there's a very thick red line. You cross and you bet on your own team, let alone any gambling. You kind of cross that line.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah.
There's already laws against that. If you gamble and you're not a part of it, that's an instant ban for the rest of the season. If you bet on a game where you're a part of, that's banned for life.
Yeah. Yes, he was betting on his own. I
gotta ask my wife because she knows sports history a hell of a lot better than even most guys. I'm trying to ask. There was a baseball player who bet on himself years ago and then was banned. I'm trying to remember the name. She definitely knows. But I mean, yeah, you know what's the funny thing? This whole thing happened with Cormier. Came out with apparently that Eric Trump. Again, who knows if this is AI or not? But I mean, this is stuff that they do. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't. That he was asking if any of the fighters were injured. Again, these sort of texts that were coming out, they're saying, "Hey, are any of the fighters injured? Or if any of the fights are rigged?" And he was asking Cormier if he knew any of this. And then all of a sudden, the tweet disappeared. And then Cormier said, my Twitter got hacked." Which. Come on, then you would be more angry about the hack than about whatever else came out. I mean, it's come on. I mean, at this point, could it be rigged? Yeah, of course. I mean, and some of those fights look a little iffy, but I mean, yeah.
But here's the thing. But here's the weird thing. As you know, the NCAA's got rules. You violate their rules, you lose eligibility. This dude decided to sue the NCAA. And with a biased Texas Tech graduate judge, won against the NCAA.
Okay, by the way, my wife just texted back. It was Pete Rose. Pete Rose, who bet tons on himself. He never bet against the Reds. Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah. Thank you, wife.
Yeah. So he bet, and so now he was granted eligibility for the season. And everyone was, and the school that he's with, Texas Tech, decided to get behind his back. and intends to play him. Everybody is furious with this because when you do that, you get in trouble. You lose eligibility.
Yeah, the whole sports world is it's been completely destroyed by the whole sports betting situation. I mean, even at work, I mean, there's co-workers I see, like, they're betting on all the games going on in the World Cup. It's like, some of these guys can't even stop themselves. It's a little crazy. By the way, if you guys are listening or there, please don't bet on gambling on sports. It is not a good thing. You're not going to win. The house always wins. Now, understand this: when it comes to casino gambling, the house always wins. Okay.
Well, and there's a simple way of solving that. You do like me. You do not place the bets. You take all bets.
There you go. Take the bets. There you go. Exactly. That's why the casino wins. And if by any chance you do win, like people who are like these advantage players at blackjack, you get kicked out. So you're not allowed to win. It's as simple as that. Even if you are winning, you're not allowed to win.
If you do win. Even if you do win, the IRS is gonna be on your ass faster than
Well, that's the only reason sports betting has become legal is because the IRS takes their nice big cut. So yeah, if you're gonna
and then when you try and come back and if you come back, they're gonna triple the eyes on you.
Yeah,
the casino's gonna make sure you lose.
Yeah, don't worry. You can lose all that $10,000. But if you win that $50, oh man, you better write that down on your tax.
Yeah, or else you're gonna hear open up IRS. That's what you're gonna hear. We need those $50. Come on.
You're gonna hear. Give me my $50. You got. And the IRS is gonna be like, "Hi, you owe me $50." You sure about that?
Yeah.
Here's what you do.
Remember, like the Batman animated series? I still remember that as a kid, where the Joker like freaks out that the IRS is going after him. He's like, "I messed with anybody, but I won't mess with the IRS."
I'm crazy enough to mess with Batman, but the IRS? No, thank you.
There you go. Yeah, that's the exact quote. You got it. All right, let's let David talk now. David wants to talk.
No, wait, hang on. We need to make that a sound. You need to make that a sound.
All right, I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna look that up. All right, David, go ahead.
Well, I got some good news before I get to my article. I finally got my shed paid off today.
Nice, man. Congratulations. Woo! Hold on, wait. We got to put on. We have this working. Here we go.
For many years, I finally got it paid off.
Nice.
But also
everybody getting out of financial slavery is always good news. That's great, David. That is great to hear.
But also, I do want to bring up that we got a new railroad being built from the ground up in Texas.
Alrighty.
I sent the article.
Let's see the article over here. Okay, here we go. Wait a second.
Shoreline?
It's not Saskatchewan. Is this Texas? It's not. It's.
Right above Dunn Trucker Post.
All right, here we go. I see it. There we are. Okay. Here you go. Regulators approve construction of a new Texas short line. There we go. The Surface Transportation Board has approved construction of a new 2.6-mile rail line in Webb County, Texas, near Laredo. The decision yesterday authorized construction and operation of the line by Laredo Gateway Industrial Railway, LLC. It will connect Union Pacific's Laredo Subdivision Main Line to the Gateway Industrial Park, which is under development near the intersection of Interstate 35 and State Route 244 north of Laredo. Okay, I wonder what this industrial park is going to do. Let me see. Hold on. The board's decision accepted the analysis by the board's Office of Environmental Analysis, which recommends 2 mitigation measures. One calling for a plan to deal with any discovery of archaeological artifacts during construction. Oh, goodness. Alrighty. And one calling for brush clearance preceding construction to occur outside of bird nesting season. Speaking of silly regulations, I mean, I get it. I love birds. If anybody has, I have pictures. I got to see if I can find that one picture. I have bird feeders, and I love these bird feeders. But I had a rabbit, a duck, and a whole bunch of birds, all feeding together, all in the same area. I mean, come on. Yeah. But again. When it comes to like people on the right wing, we love believe me, we love nature, but then when it comes to like actually like doing anything from the left or do anything, it's just more regulation on top of it. So just go ahead and skim off the top here. Let me see. Oh, I think I almost found it. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta share this picture. Yeah, there we go. Hold on, wait, there's a bunny. Where's the one with the duck? There we go. There it is. So you guys know I'm not lying. There we go. It's like Snow White over there. There we go. There you go. So you see, I'm not making it up.
Also, Dimitri, here are 3 memes that I sent for the live stream that are funny.
Okay, let's go ahead and see that. But yeah, look, again, we keep saying this. If we want to rebuild America, we need to actually rebuild stuff and actually start making and building stuff again. All right, let's see the memes here. Oh goodness, that is cursed. That is. Hold on, where's the that is.
David, thank you.
It's funny.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
We have the Milwaukee Road.
Oh, watermelon fella.
What the heck?
Either way, 35. Come on, just 35 years. I mean, come on. It was obvious. It was absolutely obvious. It was cold-blooded murder. Just go. Just come on. That's enough. No. Nope. Anyway,
also, we got a Milwaukee Road team.
Let me see. Oh, we got a Milwaukee. Here we are. Hold on. Let's find the. Let's see. Where is it?
The Milwaukee Road.
Oh boy. Oh no, that doesn't end well. Well, funny enough, I think Milwaukee has preserved, or not Milwaukee, Wisconsin has preserved an electric interurban. It's on the historic places registry.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is plus 2 little zones, or technically either 2 or 3 of them still exist.
Yeah.
Up the little zones.
All of them are in museums.
I mean, I gotta say, for the Midwest, I mean, Wisconsin is just probably one of the quirkiest states, and they have such a lot of like just cool history. I mean, apart from just having the best beer in the in the country, I would show Spotted Cow, but I'm running low on my Spotted Cows over here, so I'm not going to crack those open.
Also,
then you need to get more Spotted Cow. You gotta go to Wisconsin.
Definitely gotta.
Here is 40 East Coast 250 unit.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can hold on. I gotta share this to here we are.
Okay, this is good for international border.
There we are. I sent the picture to the general chat so everybody can see it. See it. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I see it.
This is what I'm hanging around Zoomers all day, and I'm losing my sense of spelling and grammar here.
But
anyway, I love it. But anyway, okay, let's see. What's the new one here?
Yeah, look, here's the 40 East Coast code 250 unit, which I'm going to just say this. I think it okay because one be on the 40 East Coast effing around with Brightline, you know?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's still cool. It's not the best. Cool. I say it's I give it a solid 7. Solid 7 out of 10.
Now CXX, I want to bring it up. CXX caught with there.
All right.
CSX. BNSF, PSX, old BNSF, all of them cut.
Oh, that is cool.
Oh, that one?
That is like something that you see on the side. It looks better on the side of a train than it does on the side of a Harley. That is cool.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I don't know if I like it.
Also, I did.
We have exactly.
Unit.
Hold on, David. We have exactly the sound for this one.
I guess it's okay. It's not bad.
There we are.
Good.
That is okay. Is this Union Pacific's?
No, this is a little Narrowgate tourist railroad. Look
I
at
know.
this.
I know.
This thing is adorable. Look, that's adorable. That little thing is adorable.
They will not be left behind.
Yeah, I don't know what's the first paint scheme.
Yeah.
To be honest, Dimitri, for the cutest 250 unit, this little Plymouth Switzer would take the cake.
Oh yeah, no, it already does. I mean, I don't know anything else that's that small in the 250 running. By the way, guys, we'll probably are there any more trains or any more lines that are going to be releasing any more 250 liveries?
We're all hoping. We're all hoping. comes
To
out.
be honest, I think Alaska Railroad is going to be doing a 250 unit soon because
They
I have a friend.
will.
I have a
Elastic
friend
Road?
who is a fellow YouTuber who who live up in Alaska near Anchorage. And what he's been talking about, me and him been talking and chatting about it, and they're talking about doing a 250 unit. And also, I got some crazy news from Alaska.
Alrighty.
They have finally started doing double stack intermodal.
Oh, they
Wait.
finally got the tunnel clearance for that.
Yep, they finally started doing it. There have been a
what
video like on my friend YouTube channel because he been rail fanning. Let me send y'all one of his videos.
Send over the link, David. Yeah, send that over. And then while you're doing that, Adam Everywhere, is there something that you wanted to share while you're here?
Yes. The pre-clearance event that's happening in Vancouver, I was talking at, and so that could be done. I'm saying we have same thought.
Because they now got weld parts in Alaska.
Alrighty, hold on, one at a time. Okay, hold on, Adam. I'm trying to look for your article over here. Over in Vancouver. Let me see. Okay, here we are. Yeah, got it. All right, there we are. I already have it on. Never mind. Yeah, I've seen this one. Yeah, Amtrak debuts North America's first passenger rail pre-clearance facility over Vancouver. Yeah, this is good. Like, look, this is something that should have been already done. I didn't even know. Like, oh wait, you guys didn't have pre-clearance before? You mean you had to go ahead and get cleared in order to go and cross over? But finally, they figured this out. This is again common sense stuff that every other country has had. I mean, all over Europe. With I guess it's easier with the Schengen zone. But I mean, of course, Canada. We have a lot of not so nice things to say about Canada. But I mean, but look, they're a northern neighbor, and it shouldn't be that hard to get up and down there.
Especially process. It's not hard to get in.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be that hard to get up and down.
He got a ton of video, by the way. Didn't know it's going to take me 1 minute because he got a ton of video.
All right, go ahead. Yeah,
on a channel.
Take your time. Take your time. We got time. But yeah, this is good. Let me see. Historic moment for passenger rail North America, said Amtrak President Roger Harris. Launching the continent's first rail pre-clearance facility reflects what's possible when strong partners come together with a shared focus on the customer experience. This improvement makes cross-border travel faster, easier, more seamless from the moment passengers arrive at the station. Yeah, this is, again, something that should be happening over here. So yeah, now you can take the Cascades up to Vancouver. You should be pre-cleared, so you don't have to go ahead and stop. Go through the whole thing again. Get your passport out. Do the whole clearance. Like it's a little silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they did this right on time for the
passport anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question.
Did this right on time for the World Cup.
Right if I were to post a funny YouTube video I found.
Yeah, let me see.
Would we be copyrighted if you were to play that?
Probably.
No, I said no thanks.
Yeah.
It's called "Is It a War?" It's hilarious video.
Okay.
And at the end, the guy's like, "I give up," and then the person's like, "Congratulations, you're now a U.S. congressman."
It's not a war. We've already dump chucker. We've already won the war. There is no war. We've already had peace with them. We're writing a peace deal. It is the best peace deal ever. There's no war. This is frankly it wasn't war, but we've won. We won this war. We've been won this war. We won this already 2 days in.
Watch it when you're done with the video. You are gonna love it.
Have you tried turning the war off and back on again?
On it,
like it's on
The war's over. Hang on. The war's over. Everybody can be at peace.
Everybody can be at peace,
except for a certain group of people.
Hang on. Even better.
I just had to play that one.
I would love to see what the left does if Trump were to say, "FIFA World Cup is such a good thing.
I see it.
It is such a great world event. It's amazing." I wonder what they would do.
All right, let's go see. Let's see.
Yeah, I see Dave.
Let's see David's friend's video here. Let's see. You're definitely full on train autism here. There we go. Put the volume down over here.
I also put the stamp of the time when the double stack intermodal at 1:27 minute at 1 minute and 27 second into the video.
All right, let me go ahead.
When the double stack.
Put you guys back up over here. There we are. Okay. There we go. At some point, I gotta figure out how to get Discord over onto the side over here. I don't think you can do it in the stages, which is a little silly, because I like how the stages, how you can interact in them, but oh well. Okay. There we are. Let's go ahead and put it to the double stack here.
There's mostly oil business in Alaska.
You said it was 120?
Yeah, at 1 minute and 27 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, well, look at that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
double stick.
It took them years.
No,
they did, and here, funny thing, they did started doing that back in 2025. So at the end of 2025, when they started doing it, it went completely under our radar for almost 6 months straight. You know?
Yeah.
Because they did it so
I forgot they had tunnels.
Yeah.
So it was probably because they were doing it so few. They do it so few and far in between. No one noticed.
No, it's
here-
it's
here-
very crazy. You know what's the thing? Every time you see one of these trains going through, and you get stopped for whatever, 3-4 minutes, whatever. Okay, turn off your engine and just relax and enjoy it. But every single one of these cars is another truck off the road. Literally, there you go. You can see the wheels right there off the cab. It is literally a truck off the road. Every single one of these.
Here's the thing: is they don't have a choice in Alaska too. Their roads don't always. They've got communities where aren't connected to the main network.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was the TV show Ice Road Truckers. I mean, that is. I mean, look, I'll be honest. That road is safer than driving on anywhere else in any urban area in the United States.
Than driving on I-95.
Yeah, look, I would much rather any day of the week go ahead and drive through Alaska on an empty road than drive through I-95. Okay, at that point. It is all on you. You have full control over your own destiny at that point, weather permitting. Okay, on I-95, you're kind of putting your life
Not even weather permitting. Hang on. Not even weather permitting. Why? Because you could choose if you want to drive down that road in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah, it's true. It stops. Oh, it's a snowstorm? Okay, just stop and, go in the back of the cab, enjoy the rest of the night. Go ahead, put on some YouTube, put on some movies, put on some videos, play some games if you can get some Starlink, and you're good.
Light a fire.
Yeah.
In a snowstorm, you cannot stop because snow is going to cover your truck anyway.
Exactly.
Oh,
So it's
yeah,
like
you're
not going anywhere, so might as well just enjoy it. Enjoy it. By the way, I think
So
I
you're
found.
telling us you would rather deal with the Bears than deal with Florida Man?
Oh yeah, all the Bears need is just a couple of 10 millimeters. That's it. You're fine with the Bears.
No, man, the Bears are friendly.
I wish dealing with Florida Man was legally that easy. I mean, come on. The Bears are easier to deal with than most people. Let's be honest. I mean, the Bears have more common sense than most people nowadays.
Listen, the Cubs have much easier to handle.
By the way, of course, guys, again, any sorts of threats or jokes about violence it's all just in jest. It's all just in Minecraft and Tarkov servers, so don't worry. By the way, I think I found the Joker IRS clip. Let's see if that works.
This should clear
No,
up your
but you're
account.
going to lose all $5 of ad revenue.
I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you.
There we are. Okay, we got it. So
I think that.
Now
we
we
have-
talk about the IRS. We just play that sound.
we have it added, guys.
I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you.
All right, but the great Mark Hamill, he's kind of gone cuckoo. But hey, I mean, I guess you got to be a little eccentric to be crazy. Anyway.
He became the Joker.
Yeah, he was. I mean, like when people say the
Kinda
voice
crazy.
of the Joker, I mean, Mark Hamill is the voice of the Joker. I mean, Jack Nicholson is always, fantastic Joker. Heath Ledger, legendary performance by far. I mean, rest in peace, Heath Ledger. But I mean, Mark Hamill, I mean, come on, he's done the Joker more than anybody else. He's done it in the video games. He's done it in the TV shows. I mean, Luke Skywalker is the Joker. I mean, put that together.
Imagine. I can't imagine
It went up by 5 cents.
Yeah. Oh man.
I can imagine the Joker or Luke Skywalker facing his dad, but he's just the Joker.
I thought you got it. I did. Oh, by the way, Demetrius, I'll take it. Lyft and Uber are bullcrap right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. It's complete garbage. Yeah.
Because I'm not home right now. Me and Vel, we're right now waiting on the price of Uber or Lyft to go down for we get home. So
my
we're
guy,
not home.
don't use Uber. Don't use that. You have a. See, I know you don't want to take a car, but sometimes you don't have a choice.
It happens.
I'm doing it right now.
Sometimes you really don't have a choice.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. I mean, all these companies, Uber and Lyft, they don't own any actual infrastructure. It's just continual rent seeking. They got in by dumping the prices, getting rid of the taxi companies. Which again, yeah, taxi companies, they were kind of scummy and sucked at that point. But you know what? We much rather have the taxi companies back.
Well, then, hey, the New York company. Well, technically, they're still around.
Yeah, they're still around in New York. But they have,
New York. We have it. We have like one. I see a taxi here every now and then.
Yeah, where they have protections, sure. In places like Japan, like Uber has never been able to take off there because there are major protections, which we should have protections for our own industries. There's nothing wrong with that.
New York City actually has a protection over its taxis because of how historic they are.
Yeah. And then every time in Paris, whenever like Uber starts to have incursions over there, all the Paris taxi drivers and the unions start to burn tires and stuff like that. That's always hilarious. Yeah, I mean, hey, those Europeans, they know how to riot. I mean, like, look what's going on over in Ireland. I mean, they're finally starting to do something there. Okay, let's see. Can this work for Amtrak? Tracks offer rail-specific insurance and assurance services in Canada.
Yeah, I saw that one. I saw and trying to figure out, can they work?
I think we have insurance. Tracks Insurance, which is powered by UK-based supply chain risk management specialist Achilles. Anytime you see any sort of UK-based supply chain risk management specialist or anything like Lloyd's of London, you know this is going to be a massive scam. I don't know.
I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, imagine, like, okay, yeah, we just brought in a UK-based. Stop right there. Let's back off and let's not do this. Whatever you just said, UK-based. No. Let's UK-based anything.
Look at the current AI photo I sent.
Here's the thing. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work in practice. I see this as a massive scam. That's kind of where I see this going. Just like 5 seconds of looking at this, not even getting into the nitty gritty of it. That's kind of what I see. I don't know. Okay. Ooh, that is cool. Speaking of Britain, what intonation is? Oh wait, there's the rest of the track. I'm like, wait, where's it going?
Look, do you see the AI photo I just sent? Look at it.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I see that.
Hold on, wait. Which AI photo is this? An AI photo? Because it looks kind of weird.
Yeah. Look at where the track and the road are.
Yeah, I know that, and then like I'm looking at the text and like, wait, the text doesn't even look like it's actual written down. That doesn't look like a British license plate. So, yeah, it's weird. And then let me see. Hold on. Yeah, guys, like the biggest way to like figure out like if it's AI or not, it's just like look at the words and like if it makes sense or whatever. I mean, it could have fooled most people, but I mean, yeah. And then the windows aren't completely straight on the cabs. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I got a big boy meme.
Okay, let me see what you got here. You weren't 25 feet back. Blow the horn.
And then another one that. Then another one making fun of that idiot. What do I tell my 5 boys? Tell them not to murder people.
I have a question. I should make a Kalshi bet. How much we want to bet 4014's number plate will get yoinked? Or one of its number plates will get yoinked in Philadelphia.
Oh man.
Oh, dude.
Goodness gracious, Philly. Goodness gracious. All right.
Just like they did, just like what happened to
the toy robot.
the Grand Trunk one.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Guys, look at the meme I just sent.
Oh man, the Mario one.
Grand Trunk unit got yoinked. Had a lot of parts yoinked. Until the internet joke going around was, who's gonna yoink what? I called dibs on the cab.
Oh man.
Like, no, like, look at the meme. It's super funny. You were supposed to yeah, read all the words. It's super funny.
Yeah, this is why we can't have nice things.
Oh man. That's crazy. Alrighty. Hold on a second. Let me just get trying to help out here. Alistair is gonna start his stream up in a bit, so I'll we'll figure out if maybe I go onto his server or he comes over here. We'll figure it out. So let me see. Because I wouldn't mind taking questions from his audience. I don't mind. Whatever. What do you guys think? Want to come here?
Really cool. I got to show y'all. Did look at one of my local bookstore. Look at what I found.
Hold on. David, your internet just cracked out there, so I don't know what the heck you just said.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Look what I just sent y'all. It's cool. Did look at the local bookstore.
Oh, that's nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like the Shinkansen looking one. That's pretty cool. I gotta get some train stuff for my kid. We already do. We have the pillow there. I played around with him a little bit with that today. I like whenever he starts looking at the pictures or anything like that, he starts to smile. That's always pretty fun. Let me see if I can get. There we are. Okay, export as. There we go. Okay. I apologize, guys. I'm doing like 5 things at once over here, but I'm still listening. Yeah, goodness. Yeah, the big boy crowds have been pretty crazy. That has been fun to watch.
Yeah, that was a few days ago.
Yep.
And now it's quiet, but I wonder what it's gonna be like over there where I had traffic.
Oh, Dimitri, it's something I spotted at the mall that was for sale. So I took a photo of this. So look at this.
Let me see. Oh, shoot, a Daihatsu midget.
Yep.
Oh, man.
No, you cannot take it home with you. You cannot take it home with you.
No, please.
Come on.
Yeah, it's funny. I always used to make fun of those whenever I played Gran Turismo. It's like, it only has 12 horsepower. And then, like, the Daihatsu midget only races that you could do were just hilarious to watch. It's like, do. And it just, they take all forever. They all start going super slowly off. It's hilarious, but I mean, now it's like, yeah, you know what? This sort of thing would work here in the United States. I mean, it's not.
It can actually work.
It's look, it's a lot more. Oh, it's for sale. Hold on, it's for sale.
It'll go from 0 to 60 in 3 to 5 business days.
It'll eventually, yeah.
Yes, it will.
That. Oh man.
Wait. I have a.
For sale in the mall
It's like a
parking
motorcycle
lot.
engine in there. Like, I'm saying it's enough to get to highway speed, maybe like maybe up to 4 minutes at least. It takes a long time to get to speed. It's the engine. It's very small engine.
I know that thing that make it so funny. That thing what in.
Let's see if this.
I spotted it on my way to work. You know.
Okay. There we
You
go.
are parking against 2 giant pickup trucks.
Also, here occurs MPTA or like MTA locomotive. Ooh, not bad. But
Decent.
Oh, that's right. The next one.
So, all right, I have an L4014 moment.
ooh. That's fun. And well, me and the wife live about here. They'll be here in a couple of minutes. So if my side get very spotty and you can't hear me, that's because I'm using my wife hotspot.
Yeah, no worries.
So
Okay.
Okay. All right. Here's the plan, guys. I will be going on to Alistair's channel on Wage Rage Radio. So I will be on there. This stream will still be up over here, so you guys can still be able to listen in. You can opine over on YouTube. He'll also have it up on his YouTube channel, and then I'll probably come on back over here. I can leave the stream up if you guys want to just talk into here, whatever you guys want. But yeah, we'll start doing that once he sends the link over. We'll go there. So yeah, that's once he gets things going. But I'll let you know. So don't worry. I'm not disappearing just yet. Don't worry.
If you disappear, please we'll leave a place where we can put milk and cookies for later.
Yeah, no worries. I haven't gained that much weight. No, actually, I've lost. I'm still like at 175. Like I just haven't left that room.
Dude, I'm
lying. What?
175? Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I was 175.
I am trying to stay. Cause the thing is, I'm trying to stay like exactly in light heavyweight division, just staying like right there. And I haven't like I've only maybe the heaviest I've been is maybe 185, and that's when I was trying to like I had to do everything I could to lift 405 for a bench press, which I did. And like I'm trying to get closer there. It's like, can I do it at 175? And it's a lot. But I'm trying to get back into it. Like I was like halfway to 405, and then it just. Luckily, I had the pin, so don't worry. I'm not gonna get Hillaried, guys. I'm not going to have the weights drop in on me, and all of a sudden die suddenly. So that's not gonna happen. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I did get to 225 overhead press, so that was
you got over 200. Wow.
Oh yeah, 225 overhead press on the axle bar, which is even harder. But yeah, that was pretty fun. Sorry, what were you saying, Minor Tree?
Yeah, last time I weighed 185 pounds was high school.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I try to work my way down to like 170, it's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, then again, like I'm 5'9", so I mean, not tall,
much taller,
not short either. Okay, but I mean, yeah, it's I mean, every guy that I fight at my weight class is all taller than me, which actually is kind of an advantage for me because I can just get lower and hit the body. So, why not? I'm enjoying it. Yeah. Look, I keep saying, guys, you gotta. Whatever happens in the future, I mean, I think we all need to be physically capable and prepared. That's definitely something we all got to do.
And we all need to be in some kind of
get to the gym. Yeah, I've been helping a friend out. He's now starting to go to the gym now, and he's asking about pre-workout. Me and another friend are telling him what to do and help him out. So, yeah, like if you got to like at least 3 times a week, just try something. Go to the gym, work out at home. It's like look. I know things are bleak, but that's like the very least we can do. It's like if we want to talk about like pragmatic solutions, like. Yeah, we got to be physically capable no matter what's going to happen. So I think that's just the way we got to do.
Or learn a combat sport.
Yeah, both. I mean, I've always been into combat sports ever since I was a kid. Went into karate and then kumite karate, did a little bit of boxing, did some Muay Thai, and then went back into boxing. I mean, I've always been sort of active. But yeah, I know some people, every time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys talk about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's all they talk about. I don't like the grappling. I think it's kind of gay. But whatever. I mean, look, you do you, and at some point, yeah, you gotta grab the other guy. I get it. Like learn some grappling for sure, but yeah.
Yeah. That's called tackling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tackle, whatever. I wish we had like more sambo here in the U.S. I know that's a Russian thing, but I mean that it does look super cool. Like combat sambo.
No. We
is
need
a
the
bunch
bear.
of baloney.
We need the Russian bears
We need,
that
yeah.
show up and just absolutely be so friendly to you.
Russian bears on unicycles, and where's that one video of like the Russian bear that's like holding down the tree as like some guys just doing pull-ups on it? That's one of my favorite ones.
No. One of my favorite videos is the bear is in the same. It shows up, or it comes up right behind the guy, and he's like, "What's going on, buddy? What's going on, comrade?"
Oh man,
just inside the house, like a pet bear.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, this is the thing about bears. I mean, like, the only bear that I've seen was like a black bear once in Florida, and it was maybe 100 yards away, and it ran away. Black bears are going to just run. No big deal. Actually, no. I'm sorry. I have seen I have seen bears in captivity. It's not the same as seeing them in the wild. I get it, but there was like one. The last one I saw was when I was in Springfield, Missouri, at the Bass Pro Shops. They had like this massive museums. I mean, that place is like Disney World. It is incredible. But yeah, they had like a brown bear, and she was just playing around, playing in the water, playing with the ball. I mean, you know, you got to feel sorry for the thing, but also it was abandoned, or its mother was killed. I think its mother was killed. And it was just hanging around without a mother. So yeah, I mean, look, that's the best thing that can happen to it. It's like it's not going to be able to survive in the wild. So at least it will be there to serve as a reminder of the love of nature for other people. I mean, that's the nice thing about having these zoos. I mean, it's not all just capture animals and have them there in slavery. Like, no, some of these animals are there to serve for research purposes, and some of them cannot be put back into the wild. And they serve as influences and inspiration for kids and adults alike to at least have a love for nature, which is absolutely important in a very demoralized world that wants to just cut down everything to turn everything into suburbia and into asphalt architecture. So yeah, a love of nature is definitely something that should be accounted for.
And not every bear can be Wojtek and carry artillery shells around.
Oh yeah, wait, that was the Polish bear.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember showing my wife that once. Yeah, hold on, wait, you guys got to see this. Hold on. We got to find out. Hold on. Let's see if I can open up let me open up another tab over here. For those of you who don't know, we're kind of waiting on Alistair over here, so we're just waiting in, and then I'll go over to his Discord, and we'll do a discussion over there. It'll be fun. Be interesting to see, because more people do need to know about infrastructure, and we've talked a bit about it, and you know, that's the thing. I think most of our generation, doesn't matter if we're like super far to the right or super far to the left, we agree on basically a whole lot of stuff. It's basically infrastructure is like, yeah, we're getting taken advantage of by Wall Street, by a certain group of people, and our country is not serving our purposes. So yeah, there's a lot of, I would say, similar ideas that we can all agree upon in our generation that says like, yeah, we need to do a couple things to fix up stuff. And it's unfortunate that this is a generational war, and it shouldn't be, between boomers and everybody younger than them. It's not fair. And to be fair to boomers, they have been absolutely psyoped. I've been listening to the audiobook. Hold on a second. What's it called? Darn it. Yeah, Age of Entitlement by Christopher Caldwell. Interesting book. And you just kind of see how a lot of it's been put on them by the greatest generation, because they were also sort of psyoped in a way. But man, the boomers just went completely turbo with it. Pretty terrible. But yeah, I am of the opinion that nothing is going to get better until the boomer generation loses their grip of power. That's just simple as. All right, let's find that Polish bear. Okay, let me see. Wojtek, Wojtek the bear. He was. There you are. Here you go, guys.
Polish brown bear.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you are. Actually, it says Syrian brown bear. I guess he was brought over from Syria.
Oh, so Syrian / Persian. He was basically picked up in Iran when they were running through.
You know what's crazy? There used to be lions all the way up and through Greece and southern Europe until they all got hunted down. That's pretty sad. Imagine the ancient world, man. That would have been crazy to see. You know,
until they're going into modern battle on an elephant, we're not even going to talk about.
Yeah, let's not talk about. I mean, come on, Hannibal going over the Alps with war elephants. Of course, I mean, all of but one died going over the Alps, but still. I mean, that's freaking cool. Again, 0 days thought about the Roman Empire or anything adjacent to the Roman Empire.
All right, I'll reset
the clock. Men cannot go 1 day without thinking about the Roman Empire. Here we are. Why bears are better than people. Bears carrying artillery ship. There we go. Wojtek play wrestling with a Polish soldier. I mean, those Poles, man. I love them. Hey, I married someone who's part Polish, so yeah. So there we go. I gotta love those Poles. Oh man, Wojtek in Britain after the war. Oh, he got transported over to Scotland. Was given to the Edinburgh Zoo, where he spent the rest of his life. Also visited by journalists and former Polish soldiers, some of whom tossed cigarettes for him to eat, as he did during his time in the army. That is the most Polish thing I've just heard today. They fed him cigarettes.
Give bears cigarettes? I don't know bears like cigarettes.
Oh, man.
Actually,
he didn't like smoking them. He liked eating them.
Hey, died of 21 in natural causes, which, I mean, I think that's about a little bit more than average for bears. Weighing 1,100 pounds. Goodness gracious. 500 kilos. Reaching over 1.8 meters or 5'11" tall. Yeah. Man, 1,100 pounds at 5'11". That is insane. And man, like you're play fighting with something like half the size of a car. That is nuts, man. Let me see. Oh, you saw Iran. Right Uh-oh. Don't let Netanyahu know. The bear was from Iran. Don't let him know.
They built a statue of him at the zoo.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Iran ain't going nowhere. Ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, let's see how that whole thing turns out. I mean, it's stupid because when you read the memorandum of understanding, it's basically Iran won. We got into this war to defeat them, only for them to now have control of the Strait.
Iran won.
I mean,
Iran lost nukes.
I mean, did they have even nukes to begin with? That's another thing.
Well, they had 60% enriched uranium, which you don't pass 10% if it's for fueling nuclear reactors. So, if anything, they were setting themselves up to have one in a short time.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, like, they've been 2 weeks to a nuke for like 30 years at this point.
Yes, but if they were wanting to build one, there was a reason Trump had to do it. There was intelligence that Iran was going to build a nuclear weapon in 6 months, and they were going to fire it at their enemies.
I completely disagree with that dumb trucker. I mean, I get it, but I mean, like, if they would have done it, they would have done it a long time ago. I mean, and Pakistan has a nuke, or has nukes, and they've even promised that, look, if Iran needs a nuke, we will give them a nuke. And supposedly Pakistan is our ally, so go think of that. North Korea has nukes. They haven't bombed South Korea or Japan yet, and doesn't seem like they will. China's got nukes. Israel has several nukes we don't know about, which they stole the plans over from us, and they stole the technology over from us, and then sold it over to the Chinese too, which is the reason why China has nukes. And they've never signed any nuclear proliferation agreements, not one, and they probably never will. Apart from having a doctrine called the Samson option, which if they were attacked, they will absolutely bomb everybody around them to bring everybody down with them. So yeah, I can kind of understand why Iran may have wanted a nuke with that. So I mean, can't blame them. But look,
it's still unconfirmed, but highly probable.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Look, if I were Iran and I had a nuke, I wouldn't tell anybody. The only way you're gonna know if I have a nuke is when it goes off. It's like I ain't gonna tell anything. I'm gonna follow the basic art of war over here. The less you know, the better.
And then there was that random nuclear detonation in the South Indian Ocean, which was possibly South Africa, but nobody knows to this day, and those who know never told.
Yeah, South Africa's got nukes, and that country's kind of falling apart. So yeah, what's gonna happen? Okay, here you go. Alistair's on. Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and bring him on over here. Alrighty. Let's go ahead.
I thought we were going to him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hold on. We'll just bring him up over here. Let me see. Let's put everybody. Hold on. Let me see if I can I put people down back into. Yeah, I'll move. Okay, let me move everybody back down in the audience to see what's going on over here. Alrighty. Everybody down. Alrighty. And let's bring Alistair up.
Howdy, howdy.
What's up, man? How's it going?
All going pretty good. I figured this would be an awesome stream to have, is because I regularly have to commute an hour into work and an hour home from work. I'm one of those long commuters that has to travel a good distance just to get to and from work. And so I figured this would be a good discussion to talk about urban planning and kind of spurg out about public transportation.
Yeah, my condolences. You're in the same bucket with the majority of Americans that have to suffer through the destruction of urban blight in America. Yeah, this is exactly the type of stuff we've been talking about for years. But yeah, we can start anywhere with that. But yeah, so we're gonna do it here or on your channel, or where would you like to do it?
I'm already streaming on my channel. I got my audience. They're listening. They're tuning in. What's up, guys? Hope you guys enjoy the stream.
All right.
But yeah, I'm streaming on my side too. So.
Nice. Okay, I'll go ahead and put it on your stream too, so I can just see the comments over there. If anybody's got any comments or anything like that, I can answer questions there for sure. But yeah, just to introduce myself to everybody in the audience, my name is Demetrius. I am the president and conductor on the wild ride known as the American Rail Club. We've been around for now more than 10 years. Yeah, it's been that long, I guess. Nice. We started as a club in college. Long story short, I was supposed to do a TEDx conference or talk on why we should build more high-speed rail and possibly privatizing Amtrak. I was going to actually speak, and then they screwed me over 2 weeks before. Because we had a political discussion, so I had my my run-ins with the managerial education class there. Got salty over it. I said, you know what?
Eggheads.
Yeah, exactly. So if I cannot go ahead and have a platform there, I will make my own platform. So yeah, we've reached more people than I probably would have on TEDx. One of our videos here making almost 2 million views talking about the Japanese Shinkansen.
Nice.
And a documentary making about maybe 200,000 views on a little known company known as Brightline, which is America's first foray into kind of true high-speed rail. But that journey, the funny thing about that's what really sort of woke me up to the realities of the way things work in this country, because during that whole stint, we were going against three different groups, three main groups of people who were against Brightline. One of them, of course, being the boomers in the Treasure Coast of Florida. They were all heavily against. And by the way, the entire contingent against building this sort of project in Florida, all over the age of 55 at that point. Which is funny because when you go to any of these commission meetings, it is mostly a good mix of people, including some boomers who were supportive of. So I'm not going to completely crap on the boomers. There's a lot to crap on them for, but we'll give them a break for that. I mean, there are good boomers. I mean, the funny thing about Brightline, it is basically funded by an actual, only one of the few rich people that actually do care about transportation infrastructure, by the name of Wes Edens, which I think with the things going on now with Brightline, which they're having some funding issues now with the debt. I don't know. It's going to scare the rest of anybody from ever doing this sort of thing ever again. But, I mean, they're making revenue. They're having more ridership. So, yeah, I don't care if the government needs to go ahead and bail them out. They've bailed out the big three, which are obviously companies, GM. Ford probably the better of them.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But, yeah, GM, Chrysler, I will not call them Stellantis. I don't care. But these are totally bankrupt bankrupt companies. Morally, technologically, and financially, that don't deserve to be around at this point, unless they're nationalized at this point. I honestly think that they should be.
Yeah. At that point, if they're going to take so many taxpayer dollars, they should just be nationalized. The interesting thing about a lot of if they just want to be wealthy or whatever, they can go do that in their corner or whatever. They don't need to be a blight on all of civilization with their companies taking infinite subsidies. But it's kind of an interesting thing. The reason why I like talking about public transportation, because I'm a part of that group of Americans that have to spend like an hour of time commuting to and from work. And I just lost my remote work permit, so now I have to deal with it doubly. So,
man, yeah.
So the thing is that it's a great time to be alive. They decided to do full RTO in the middle of gas prices skyrocketing and stuff like that. And I got a whole lecture from the HR department saying like, well, if you don't like our company values, then you should start searching for another job. And oh, believe me, I opened up my LinkedIn on that one. But, that got me back to talking about public infrastructures because, the funny part is that like we have this kind of culture in the United States. In the middle of gas and don't get me wrong, I grew up country. I grew up in the countryside and all that stuff. I like the country. But the thing is we have to be realistic about where people are living and who what they're doing. It's like the vast majority of people are living in big urban centers. Okay, people kind of treat the city as this thing that you have to escape from, and it ends up being a rat race where the de facto 90% of people have to live there by no choice of their own. So if most people are going to live there, why not make it worthwhile? And so that's why I like having discussions about urban planning, is because we can do this in a healthy way. Urban civilization or living in urban centers doesn't have to be a negative thing. We can make it worth our while. I mean, there are plenty of cities throughout the world that are prime examples of having good public infrastructure where it's not like this trade-off for like high crime and all this other stuff. Like we can have livable urban centers, and the United States used to have that before car infrastructure really took off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, let me see, where was that one tweet that I had just up right now about that? I mean, how we basically destroyed such a good amount of beautiful. And there's a video on my channel there, like the little dark age of infrastructure. I mean, America just used to be an absolutely just beautiful, gorgeous place. And we've destroyed a lot of this beautiful infrastructure. And a funny thing is, like, a lot of this stuff was built by a lot of elites that actually did care and were patriotic about America and left a lot of these beautiful buildings over here. I mean, you can talk about Cornelius Vanderbilt left Union Station, Carnegie, Durant, all these people, Flagler, probably by far one of my favorites. Henry Flagler basically built the whole entire east coast of Florida, and he did that on his own dime because he more or less felt like it. He basically retired in St. Augustine in the late 1800s, but couldn't really get anything over to his and by the way, I'm trying to make this as short as possible of a story, but he couldn't get anything over to his hotel, so he just started building a railroad over to St. Augustine, and then other people said, hey, can you build a railroad down over here? Like, yeah, sure. And he just kept building it and building it until it went all the way over to Key West. And then he basically said, like, I have completed my life's work. I can die in peace right now. And then he died about 2 years later. So, I mean, it's just incredible how...
very contented.
Yeah, I mean... Our elites right now, I mean, they're just these unimpressive midwits. They dress like shit.
Yeah.
Apologies for cursing there, but I mean, it's just exhausting. They talk like garbage. They're unimpressive.
They pass the cost to everybody else except for them, and they pocket the difference.
Yeah, exactly. And
terrible.
It's sort of a lemon socialism for them, or whichever term we want to give it. But they privatize the gains and socialize the losses for everybody else. But I mean, it's incredible what we're left with now is this really disgusting country that is more or less the same wherever you go. There's some pretty good books on it. Geography of Nowhere being probably one of them, of how we've basically destroyed our urban systems. But I would probably go further to say that the unholy trinity of American infrastructure destruction would be these three people. Number one being Robert Moses, who basically destroyed a good amount of the subway in New York City, as well as New York's urban core.
What was his justification for that? What was his reasoning?
The guy, if you read Robert Carroll's The Power Broker, and that is a massive book. So I mean, I had to just like listen to it years ago on like 3 times speed to get even through a good portion of it. But the guy was sort of a megalomaniac. And he just really wanted to leave his sort of mark, and it just kind of pushed it from there. William
just
Levitt
being a living tumor on civilization.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, he wanted to build parkways everywhere and just wanted to have just a massive control, and he could because he was more or less the shadow mayor of New York and could control whatever he wanted. William Levitt being another one of these New York types. You're starting to get
suburbs guy, yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll start to figure out that these guys are kind of connected in one sort of way or another. But yeah, the Levitt towns, suburbanization.
Levitt towns were basically designed to make housing semi-affordable to like veterans who came home from the war. And here's kind of thing: suburbs, like, they're not good for growth. Here's one of the things. It's like, I'm dealing with it personally, like with suburban sprawl. Like, we all know what that is.
Yeah.
It's like where you have infinite cars everywhere. Everyone, there's parking lots everywhere. It takes forever to get anywhere. And so, it really comes from the fact is, like, don't get me wrong, I'm pro home ownership, but at the same time, it's like you have to recognize that when, like, as populations swell and grow, you come to this conclusion that, you just have too many people in one location to really do the suburbs anymore. You have to have high density living. You have to have trams. You have to have trains or whatever, right? The thing is that there comes a point where, like, the density of the population is just too high, where cars just become infeasible. They just cause swelling to the traffic, jamming, and all that sort of stuff. It just becomes infeasible to just make car your primary modes of transportation, especially in the city. And at that point, it's like, obviously, like, you probably already know this, is like abandoning like parking minimums. I think Houston is actually the worst in the country when it comes to, like, being suburban sprawl or whatever, right? At one point or another, when you get deeper and deeper into the urban core, you do need to just get rid of parking minimums. You do encourage people to take trolleys, trams, whatever, light rails. You essentially have to transport people, have high throughput transportation within, like, these dense centers without having to use cars. But most people don't want to have that discussion, just because it's kind of weird. It's because I've noticed this culture myself. A lot of people, like, it used to be like 20 years ago, people were like, oh, I'm going to go live in the cities because that's where the future is. That's where, people, it was kind of this cool thing. And, if you were country, you're kind of retarded or whatever. Now it's kind of reversed. And now everybody wants to live in the country, which is kind of accelerating suburbanism, is because most people have their jobs in the city, but then they have to get a house to pretend that they're country, but they're not really country. They still have to commute a whole hour or two into the city just to pretend that they're a lifestyle that they're not, right? And it's so, there comes a point, it's like you need to start having better urban planning to actually, allow a city to grow, to become more efficient. I remember when I was talking with my coworker, this is a bit of a side rant. He's not a bad guy or whatever, right? I said, what we could do to alleviate traffic, and this is one of the biggest shames of COVID, is to bring back the night economy. In fact, distribute workloads across second and third shift consistently, abolish swing schedules. And then, on top of that, you could at least reduce traffic almost like to a third of what it is now, just because the fact is you're not putting everybody on the same 9 to 5 shift, right? But he was like, oh, that's never going to happen. And I think the apathy is probably the worst aspect of it, is because most people just don't want to have the honest discussion, or even, like, think of alternative solutions. It's the stubbornness that's the worst part.
Yeah. Which is why, you have to go to, like, sort of these extremes. It's like, well, you want to reduce traffic, you got to reduce cars. And that means you got to get, rid of cars. Doesn't mean get rid of people, but, like, no, most people shouldn't be driving an automobile. The average spatial awareness of the average human being is not meant to be driving a 4-ton isekai machine through the suburbs where Caleb and Crystal are going to get run over. That is not the way that human beings should be living. And there used to be, back when cities and where there was a level of suburbanization in the late 1800s, the same guy who designed Central Park, Frederick Law Olmsted, created what was Llewellyn Park in New Jersey, which is where the elites basically had this own little place, which was called a railroad suburb, that they can go ahead and work in Manhattan, and then go ahead and zip on back on a train over to New Jersey and then just live there. But then that was actually a pretty good model, which then got taken over to Chicago and places like Riverside, Illinois, and other places where you had these railroad suburbs where people could go ahead and live and then easily work. My grandmother-in-law used to work in the railroad, the Milwaukee Road, and she used to take the streetcar from work and then just come on back. And you had places like Pullman, Illinois, which is funny because this was an experiment of elite paternalism, where the companies...
Oh,
yeah. And the funny thing about the Pullman strike and Pullman itself was, what people were striking back then for just shows how the level of patience in America has completely deteriorated, because at that point they could own or let's see, lease, not own, because the company owned all the stuff, which is, it's even worse now than whatever people were going ahead and striking for, which understandably so. I mean, you'd like to be able to own stuff, and it's not fair for the company to be going ahead and raising the prices on everything because they could. But you could live and work in the city. You didn't have to go ahead and buy a car, which was already one less cost you have to. But I think I remember did the calculations back then. I think it was like $25 to go ahead at that point, in whatever $1896 to own a 5-bedroom flat, which today it would be $700. You're not owning or getting rent for a $5 flat anywhere. So what people struck for back then is way the patience right now is way over its head than what people were striking for back then. I mean, people were starting full-on wars back then whenever companies went, and they marched over to Pullman's office. Back then, you could go over into somebody's office and say, hey, and have some demands. You can't do that now when it's BlackRock or MetLife or any of these other companies that own these massive swaths of suburban areas. And look, I'm born and raised in Miami. I've seen how things have changed, and that city has turned into a complete cyberpunk dystopia. It's
I was talking a little bit about that before, about like political activism and urbanism.
Yeah.
See, this is kind of the interesting thing, okay? Because, the suburbs and atomizing people into cars and individual houses, like, actually kind of prevented like political activism to a large degree. You could kind of segregate yourself from the world in your own little tiny corner. Now, I'm kind of a person who likes to have my own personal space and like be left alone, but I don't have a problem with apartments. I like socializing at the same time. I could go either way. But that has led to like the consequence of people not necessarily, organizing as much. They don't go into activism or whatever, right? And for better or for worse, right? So for instance, I like look at Deconstructing Our System. He's another content creator, YouTuber or whatever, right? Because like people are kind of being forced into urbanization just because of circumstance and the cost of living crisis. It's like you're probably going to see that kind of come back over the next 10 or 20 years if things don't necessarily improve. Like it's almost going to become inevitable, is because at one point or another, it's like you're stuffing people in like high density places where they're really pissed off about the cost of living crisis. Eventually, they're just going to start sharing ideas. That might be for another discussion on its own side. But here, because I like talking about like the more autistic parts about like infrastructure, because like here's the thing: it's like urban planning. Like cities can be nice, they can be livable, and I looked at a couple of Japanese cities, right? This is going to sound autistic as fuck, but when they were having snow, whatever they did, they had these little hot water sprinklers underneath the city that would like get rid of the snow to make the roads a little more pavable.
Yeah, over in Sapporo,
I'm schizo. Yeah, I'm schizo about that. Sure. Or district cooling, because from an engineering perspective, it's like district heating. It's like you could basically heat up or cool down an entire city much more efficiently. The cost of energy or heating and cooling should drop significantly just from thermodynamics alone, right?
Yeah.
This is the stuff I like talking about, is because the fact is this is stuff that's going to improve people's lives, because it's going to make things more affordable. It's going to make things more cheaper. And the funny part is that like this is the way I would sell it to the capitalists, even though I don't really consider myself a full-on like free market capitalist much these days, right?
Yeah.
If I were to sell it to the capitalist class, be like, okay, you know what? If we build these cities, that we make them efficient, public transportation's on point, people can travel pretty quickly within it, energetic costs are low, is because we're using nuclear fission power, we're using district cooling and heating, so you don't have these inefficiencies. Do you know how like cheap labor would become after that point? Is because like, okay, you need some, to hire up a bunch of people, whatever you're working on there, and people could just easily travel across the city to a new location. Shouldn't employers be jumping on this idea for like better urban planning so they can hire people up? Like if we had a high-speed rail, okay? Let's talk about relocation packages, okay? You want to hire somebody up. You've got to either cancel their lease agreement, or you need to be able to get them to sell their house. And that takes time, that costs money, right? And so this is all things that cost time and money. If you had a civilization where people could jump from one place to another through a high-speed rail, even in a major city or whatever, right? These are the things that would be like, okay, yeah, if you're a company going through a dynamic phase where you're just wanting to rapidly hire people up, well, now you can. And it's not going to be like something that's going to take forever, right? But employers or capitalists for some reason don't want to have these discussions. They don't want to sit down and say, okay, how do we, come up with better urban planning? Is because the fact is somebody's got to live in the city. We might as well make it like worthwhile and livable in the first place, is because the vast majority of people, 90% of people, are going to be living in the city. It's just a fact of life. But they want to retreat to the countryside and then pass the cost to everybody else.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And the good thing is that you brought up the point about how being taken out of urban centers has caused us more to be more atomized, which kind of brings us to like the third of this unholy trinity of American infrastructure destruction, which has been first one Robert Moses, second William Levitt, the third would be Lewis Worth. And again, all three of these guys, they're early lifers, obviously, but Lewis Worth, and that's the thing. It's like it always happens to be that. But Lewis Worth was a Chicago school sociologist that wrote this whole manifesto against urbanism of how, because against a lot of this a lot of the urban cores in America were mainly a lot of European Catholics, whether they were from Ireland or whether they're from Scotland. And E. Michael Jones, and I get it, there's a lot of things, I even have some disagreements with E. Michael Jones on a whole lot of things, but he wrote a very fantastic, and this guy writes way too much, but the Slaughter of Cities is a fantastic book that goes into detail about this. But basically, he wanted to destroy a lot of these urban cores that had a lot of these, whether they're Irish Catholics, Polish Catholics, German Catholics, Italian Catholics. I mean, you see this in a lot of cities in the Midwest, especially if you go to a place like Milwaukee, where my wife is from.
Yeah,
there are multiple parishes all over the place, and these places used to be beautiful, teeming little urban cores where families and extended families would live in. You wouldn't have to get a car. You could walk over. Let's say grandma wanted to go ahead and see the family. Well, she walked across the street or walked down to, and then went over to the parish and, went to church there, had mass, and that was it. And maybe if she wanted to go to the store or go downtown, take a streetcar and go over. That was the reality for Americans about 100 years ago. But now if you go to Milwaukee, a lot of these beautiful places have been completely destroyed, dilapidated. And you see this across the Midwest. You see this across America. And where I'm living in right now, I've lived in Indiana for the better part of a decade. I love it here. But I'm seeing a lot of the same. We're at the middle of this data center and suburbanization fight all over the place. Which has been hilarious, to say the least. Whenever you see on TV, we literally had here, like the data center fights have resulted in actual violence, which is, look, people are starting to get, when people lose their patience, which they are now, they're being overcharged for the wattage per usage. So
data centers.
Oh, well.
Are being propped up. There's no bureaucratic fight back for any of this stuff. Where was this energy for propping this shit up for nuclear fission power plants to reduce electricity costs? I didn't see that same energy. That's what pisses me off about our elite, is because, at every step of the way, for like the last 20 years, they were able to summon up all these diesel-powered data centers in months, but they couldn't summon that energy for something that actually makes everything better, is because they'd rather be rent-seeking parasites in this country.
Yeah, and that's
which
really
is what I hate about them the most.
It's the rent-seeking that's really an issue and a problem. And the funny thing is, like, I worked over at Cummins, which is probably makes the most amount of electric diesel generators. And the thing is, like, well, they can only last to a certain period of time. And these are machines we're talking about that are calculated not in miles, but in hours. Which every, let's say, 20,000 hours, they need to go ahead and get a new air filter or a new injection rail or whatever else that they need to get on. So these require a ton of maintenance every single time, and especially when you're running these data centers. Which Intel, I mean, the funny thing about these data centers, which like 10 years from now, they're going to turn into Tarkov set servers of themselves. With all these, I mean, look, there's a whole lot of VRAM dealt in those centers. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I mean, it's all I'm saying is that the Department of Energy has predicted that we are going to see it 100-fold times of blackouts across the country, because our electric grid dates back mainly to 1975 at the latest. We do not have the electric infrastructure to deal with this.
Yeah, we have three main grids. We have the East Coast one, which is obviously dilapidated. We have, like, Texas has its own, like, I don't remember if it's like ERCOT or something like that. And you have a West Coast one, right?
Yeah.
And the funny part is that, like, HVDC power lines have been talked about for quite some time now, and it's actually much simpler than people actually think it is. It's like you can literally insert this and still also keep the legacy infrastructure. You just need to have like high power inverters, to the legacy infrastructure to get working with HVDC. But like the funny part is you could have a unified national grid with 500 nuclear fission power plants to power the entire country. You could have inverter substations, which would probably be the most parasitic loss out of the entire arrangement, to basically power the existing, electrical infrastructure to have compatibility. right? Again, Noah Urquhart, yeah, it's garbage. I know, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the thing. It's like, all these things could be done. But the thing is the ruling class, and it's so stupid, is because like I don't know what your background is, maybe you're an engineer, maybe you're not, but the things I've looked at large language models, and it's one of the things that I just kind of realized after you realized what large language models were and what they're calling it, AI, it's like you just want to facepalm yourself so fucking hard, being like, how the hell do you think this is going to replace everybody's job?
No,
like, don't
it's
get me
not.
wrong.
And dude,
it's
so
basically a glorified search engine.
No, I work with Claude now, data architecting a database right now.
Yeah.
And look, it absolutely beats manual entry. I mean, goodness gracious, to go into every sort of folder or write a Python script to go do OCR is absolutely mind-breaking, and I hate it. The nice thing about Claude is that you can go ahead and get it to do all this sort of stuff, and all the simple stupid stuff like any sort of file extension mishaps or whatever, it does it automatically, which is nice. The problem is that the usage sucks. And I've even gone with my boss, and like every time I don't have to go to him and say, "Hey boss, can I have more usage please?" We've been talking about maybe just getting a server of our own and loading our own LLM in there and probably doing this stuff ourselves. But the issue is, and the funny thing, I think somebody's mentioned this before about how China is creating a whole lot of these LLMs that can be basically front-loaded onto your own server, and they're 10 times as more efficient.
Yeah, they're open source
ones over here, which good on them. I mean, our country and our stupid retarded companies over here keep hiring a whole bunch of Chinese nationals who then all of a sudden fly to Shenzhen with a whole bunch of hard drives, and then what do you know? This looks exactly like a Tesla, or this looks exactly like Claude. So, well. So, I mean, too bad if China's doing it and they're putting it out there for free. I'd say to everybody, go ahead and take it and make your own servers and do it yourself. But like, you have to be practical about these things.
Yeah, it's amazing like how like they shamelessly I mean both the Indians and the Chinese both steal basically from the United States, and they do it so shamelessly too. But the worst part is our ruling class doesn't care. In fact, they're trying to you saw that visit to Beijing. These jackasses were trying to weasel their way into the Chinese market. After they'd been trying to do the reverse for years.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's like they're like, please China, let us in. We're on your side. Well, we don't like the United States anymore. And it's like, okay, so now you're gonna sell us out again. Like you usually do. Now you're trying to weasel it. The Chinese are smart enough to realize that these people are retarded and just not let them in. And Mark Zuckerberg has been trying to weasel his way into China for years, but it's like it hasn't really worked out, is because it's like, again, if you just sold out like a world-class empire in 75 years, why would any country want you to come into their country?
Yeah, and
let's be real here.
This is the thing, and it's like I've been, I'm way far right wing, and I've been basically more like this. I don't know what ism at this point I am. It's like, am I more integralist or syndicalist or whatever, distributist? I don't care at this point. Like, look, we need to fix a lot in this in this nation. I would probably channel what Lee Kuan Yew did, and this was a guy who went, I think, to the Fabian School for a little bit, but he became more right wing when he took Singapore. It's like, look, we have no natural resources of our own. If we want to survive in this world, we have to do a lot to do. And Singapore is a fantastic, beautiful nation. I haven't had the chance to go there. I wish I could. I have visited Japan and Tokyo and Osaka, which are absolutely gorgeous places, and that completely blackpilled me after coming back to the United States. I mean, just looking, it's like, we are never going to catch up to this with our current system. We're just not. But yeah,
cultural mentality.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot to really fight back against, and pragmatically, I mean, the best things that we can do right now practically is stopping a lot of these data centers, which, I mean, what's funny is here in Indiana, particularly in central Indiana, there are a lot of commission meetings where this is the only time these commission meetings get packed. Because I've been in so many commission meetings, and I'm probably the only one there, and the only one probably under the age of 60. Anytime you go to these commission meetings, but anytime for these data center meetings, and if you guys live anywhere in the Midwest or anywhere in your area that's doing these data centers, it does make sense to go ahead and go there, because every time you go there, and you have a large crowd of people saying no, but then all of a sudden you have these, these disgusting commissioners half the time, and they're all the same sort of, you can tell that these frumpy dumpy boomers that have just failed their way upward into the commissioner seat. And they're like, Well, after a lot of deliberation, we have all decided unanimously to pass the resolution on the data center, which is ridiculous. And then, funny enough, they get all surprised when people get upset at them, or like what happened here in Indiana. One of these commissioners' houses literally got shot, and then there was a note left on their doorstep that said "No data center." So it's like, you know what? That's kind of what's going to happen when you piss people off and they have no political solution.
Yeah, like Larry Fink was doing this retarded shit, being like, well, we got to like prop up these data centers by all means necessary for no fucking reason whatsoever, even if we piss off all of civilization. They're willing to die on that hill for a technology that's going to flop in 3 years.
Yeah,
mark my words
right? Which I'm glad there's a lot of pushback on it. And I mean, Tucker Carlson had on, and I can't stand Kevin O'Leary. I mean, the guy dresses like garbage. He keeps wearing two watches.
Kevin O'Leary.
I can't stand him. He has despicable taste in fashion, but that's just me being nitpicky. But anyway, the guy is retarded. He says that this data center that he's doing is going to be 9 gigawatts or whatever, which, okay, diesel is not going to fulfill that. The only data center that we've built in the last 30 years have been 2. They're in Atlanta, if I recall correctly, and they have a maximum output of 1.2 gigawatts. That is not going to fulfill the needs of a 9 gigawatt data center. That is not going to happen. And it's like the math isn't mathing. A lot of it is of the interview was just him making a whole lot of these business bro remarks the whole entire time, which just pissed me off.
They're so retarded, man.
Yeah, and
they're so retarded.
Everybody's looking at it, and everybody's starting to get upset. So I'm finally glad that there's at least some pushback here on something, that there's at least this data center. Like, look, if we had nuclear energy out the wazoo, by all means, go ahead and build out these data centers. But I mean, what's the point of building out these data centers when we can just have our own local servers? I mean, a lot of this came from like the cloud service bros.
The funny part is about these data centers is like, what company is going to trust their IP with like a cloud AI? Like, I can't name a single company off the top of my head. Be like, well, why? Yes, I'm going to use cloud AI to basically not Claude, but like cloud-based AI with my intellectual property. Said no company ever. Like they're going to try and locally host it, and unfortunately, the frontier models are very difficult to locally host. So most of the time, they go to either Qwen or DeepSeek, which is open weighted models.
Yeah. And DeepSeek runs pretty well. I mean, you can run DeepSeek on an old Android phone, and it runs more or less pretty all right. So, I mean, it would be fantastic if we were to be building these sorts of localized data center systems like we used to, like the sort of stuff that we used to have in the 90s and early 2000s. But with the increase in cloud computing and the whole Internet of Things push back like 10 years ago, it just had this snowball effect of creating this whole data center push. It's like, look, our infrastructure, it cannot sustain this, our electric infrastructure. I mean, let alone
but these same capitalists, if you try to why don't you invest in the infrastructure because it makes everybody's lives easier, then they all of a sudden become like stunt, like they stick their noses up in the air and they just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they're surprised like why everybody hates them is because they're just not contributing anything positive to human civilization.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know why they're going on with the data center stuff. They thought this was their golden ticket to replace like all white collar workers. Like as soon as I saw them like replacing like a white collar work with a whole bunch of like foreign labor, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to be mad at the far right.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so with the data centers, can we send back all the H-1Bs now? Are we going to do that?
Yeah,
oh, wait, no,
exactly.
no. Okay, so why are we building these then?
Yeah. Oh, there was a builder AI got exposed. It turned out their little AI platform that wrote code for you was literally just a farm of underpaid Indians. I realized that when I was like sitting that quietly at work. I was like, okay, so the army of underpaid Indians wasn't a meme. It was actually a real thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like
man.
Amazon Go.
Yeah,
it's like they were gonna do like the scanning stuff, and it turned out it was just being man modded by an underpaid Indian with a VR headset or whatever.
Or what was it? Yeah, I think it was Waymo that they had like some Filipino somewhere like out like just driving the cars. Like, wait, so it's not even AI driving the cars now. You got like somebody there driving or like that hotel in Miami that just
an
had
underpaid Indian for the theatrics.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is ridiculous. Like this whole thing that we're gonna solve everything with data centers and self-driving cars. Okay, so we're going to make everything worse. clog up more of the roads with self-driving cars. Which, I mean, here's the thing. It's like, well, we have a self-driving vehicle that can be able to take people, mass amounts of people from place to place. We've had this technology for over 200 years. It's called a train. Why aren't we building more of those? Getting back to like Brightline, which is funny because there's no, again, the whole thing about the notion that America is a free market is a complete fallacy. And when anybody sees this sort of thing happening, like I and a lot of others saw just like face to face. And this was something like commentators like Bill Wyrick and Paul Wyrick and Bill Lind. Bill Lind is very far to the right, but he's a big, massive train buff, and he's the guy behind fourth generation warfare. He was the one that made the term, but he says like, yeah, there is no free market when the government can go ahead and build a whole ton of highways and fund airways using the taxpayer money. And using the tax money, a lot of it came from the railroads post World War II, where the railroads were basically taxed to death. They had no other choice but to either consolidate, die, or find some other ways to keep themselves afloat. And a lot of their money got taken away to go ahead and pay for their competitors. And then on top of that, you had what was probably one of the greatest conspiracies of all time called the streetcar conspiracy between General Motors, Firestone, several of the other Rockefeller oil companies, where they conspired to go ahead, buy up a whole bunch of working, beautiful tram and streetcar systems throughout the United States, kill the companies, and then scrap the streetcars and the trains and replace them with buses. And the U.S. government found them guilty in 1955 of conspiracy. They only charged GM a grand total of $5,000, which at that point was two Chevrolet Bel Airs.
Store internet connection is back.
Okay, can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you. My dollar store internet connection keeps dying out. Sorry about that, guys. Whoever's in the chat, my dollar store internet connection keeps dying in and out. I'm gonna have to basically get that fixed out at one point or another.
Oh,
so
man.
Yeah, we are back.
Sorry.
Yeah,
okay,
I love my.
What part did you miss?
What's up, man?
Okay.
About the last 30 seconds is because my entire internet decided to shit out for fucking absolutely no reason.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, okay, so the streetcar conspiracy, and this, again, the whole notion that America is a free enterprise market is completely false. The government knew that GM, Firestone, and all these companies were doing this to basically buy off their competition, kill their competition, and replace their competition. They did charge them guilty, and then they, on top of that, just gave them a slap on the wrist, like, yeah, you're charged $5,000, which at that point in 1955 was two Chevrolet Bel Air. So they knew about it. They gave them basically nothing and just let them go away with it. And this is the sort of stuff that we go against every day. Brightline's biggest opponents, not just the boomer contingent, but it was also Bob Crandall, who was the former CEO and president of American Airlines, fronted $1 million of his own money. And then there was a country club owned by a rabbi. I kid you not. This literally happened. Brightline, there was a rabbi who owned, and it was a she rabbi, who owned a country club you put the country club right by the rail line that has been there since the 1880s. Nobody told you to put a country club right in the middle of the railroad. She fronted a good amount of money against this. So it's like, you see the same people over and over again. It's like, well, I mean, this is, I saw this firsthand.
I could talk about the tiny hats, but I don't know if that's against TOS.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a little bit here and there. I just try to either say the Epstein class or I just play the quote from Smiling Friends.
Except for a certain group of people.
So I just try to skirt in that. But it's like, yeah, look, I'm born and raised in Miami. I lived right in the middle of them. Like, one of my best friends is also Jewish, and it's like, look, not every one of them is trying to go ahead and destroy the world or whatever else that everybody else is saying. I get it. Look,
there's nuance.
I know the whole thing. It's like, look, there's little J and big J. We get it. Nobody is calling for absolute destruction for them or anything like that. But it's like, look, man, I mean, Robert Moses, William Levitt, Lewis Worth, I mean,
there's
guys, you gotta just stop.
The way I see it, the way I see it is that, like, obviously it's like, you obviously everyone notices the pattern. It's like I'd be kind of retarded not to notice this, because my chat basically talks about this stuff, and I kind of have to basically be like, okay, chat, I can't control what you talk about. People are going to talk about whatever at the end of the day, right?
I get it.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because the fact is that, like, I think it's because the fact is people just don't want to have an honest discussion about stuff. Like, I was talking with my workplace. It's like the HR department's bitching and complaining about, like, remote work perms, that we're aligning it to new business values and getting rid of remote work, even though the fact is it's like, gas is like $4.50. It's the hour commute or whatever. Right? They just don't give a shit. Is because they're used to passing the cost to the lowest common denominator, and it always ends up being average Joes like you and I. And so the problem is that, like, what we need to do is create a civilization that essentially gives people multiple modes of transportation. Like, that's one thing that I try to tell people, because if you try to say you're going to get rid of the suburbs, the people who want to own their own homes are going to basically scream and cry that you're trying to bring about the World Economic Forum. So I usually come out the impasses, because, like, at one point or another, when you have urbanization, you're going to have to accept the fact that it becomes infeasible to have car-based infrastructure. Maybe, like, as a city expands, you start getting rid of parking minimums, you start doing high-density living, skyscrapers, stuff like that. You start putting trams. Like, for instance, like the old roads on a location. Like, say you have like an urban center that's grown a lot, right? You can even take New York City, where you have like some roads or whatever, right? Obviously, these roads were not designed to handle that many people on. You might as well start moving to trams and bus infrastructure. If you look at like the bigger cities like Shenzhen and China, is that like, a lot of the roads that they use for buses most of the time, and they just ban cars off of that. You could still keep that legacy infrastructure, but just bring more controlled, like high density, high throughput transportation on those roads. And then you basically start expanding that radius based on how dense a population center is. You could still have the suburbs. Now, obviously, as a city expands, like, those suburbs are going to get eaten up by the urban centers, because eventually you're just going to have a high density population center that requires different transportation and different infrastructure. And I think that's the discussion that people need to be having, is because the suburbs, you can't just do infinite sprawl in suburbs, right? Eventually, at one point or another, where there's a dense enough population of any
looks like Alistair's internet. Alistair, did your internet just die again? Okay, I guess he's having a dollar store internet there that's acting up, folks.
My internet's shitting out again.
Oh, man.
Yep, there we go. Back again. No, I've got to figure out this internet issue before the next live stream.
No, but we want to have a whole bunch of data centers, but yeah, we can barely have working internet in our country.
yeah. I think this is more a computer thing, because funny enough, here's going to be the 300-pound Linux user moment. They did some update. It's now fucking with my Wi-Fi card, so it's been fun. It's been working consistently for about a year, and now all of a sudden, the one time I decide to live stream, it's like, you know what, we're gonna fuck that up. We gotta change that up. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I get it. Like, at this point, like, I'm still running on Windows 10 on my machine. Like, the next machine that I get is running a Linux distro of some sort, because I do not want Windows 11 anywhere near me. It's only staying on my work laptops or whatever, but I am not touching that. I cannot stand working with Windows 11. I'm done. I'm done with Windows.
See,
I loved it since 95. No, not doing it anymore. I'm done.
Windows 10 started out as like a heap of garbage, but then it got better. Well, it started out as Windows 8. Windows 8 was fucking garbage.
Yeah,
Windows 10 wasn't too terribly bad, and then they tried to do a shitty KDE ripoff with Windows 11, and I fucking hate it because everything's a web app. But, one guy commented, it's like, honestly, car infrastructure isn't the problem. The damn issue is they don't allow for alternatives. Yeah, I was like, I agree. Like, the thing is, like, at one point or another, like, you have to have alternative high-throughput transportation within major cities. Otherwise, the fact is you're just going to have sprawl. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about the stream anyways, is because the fact is good timing, is because, it was a full last hour just driving home, and I'm just kind of like, oh boy, man, I'm starting to understand why everybody hates cars. Is because at one point or another, it's like, should I just live in the city and, get a condo and then just like have like a 5-minute walk to work? That'd be nice. And that's what I've been thinking about. It's like, maybe it's just better to have a more convenient, place to live nearby your workplace that you can just literally walk to, and that's not so much an issue. But, the thing is here's another main thing that people don't talk about when it comes to urban centers. You have to be tough on crime. That's the unfortunate part, because existing urban centers have too much crime. People don't feel safe using public transportation. And that's something that I've tried to get, the thing is, if you try to ask the average leftist to have an honest discussion about crime in urban centers, they're just going to accuse you of being racist, okay? And that's kind of the problem. It's like, how do you want all this public transportation, but you don't want to have like an honest discussion on how to make it where everybody feels safe to use it. Well, you're going to have these tough conversations to have like healthy urban planning. And so, that's something that I probably talk about more often than not is because the fact is one of the first policies I'd probably do within like major urban centers is just be tough on crime initially.
Yeah, I'd start marching in the Jinro Panzer Corps down like a whole bunch of different cities. It's like it's got to be done. There is no other way that we are cleaning up America's cities. That's just what we got to do. Like if you want a multicultural working society, you have to have tough on crime. It's just like that is there is a non-negotiable with that. It's just that is that's just what it is.
If somebody
and it's better for everybody.
It's like we're gonna make them do community service. They're gonna be cleaning up graffiti off of walls. They're gonna be picking up trash. Honestly, that's better than prison. My book is because the fact is at least they're doing something positive for civilization.
Look, and it's not fair for policy. Yeah, and it's not fair for a lot of these communities. I mean, I lived in literal hood in Indianapolis. I lived on the east side for a good bit. And it's just like, it's not fair for them to be living with crime all the time. And it's like the same thing every time when you turn on the news. The cops always give the same bullshit excuses. Oh, we got to do more with the community and they got to do something. And then, everybody there is crying and screaming. And it's not good for anybody to be living in that type of situation. And it's like, well, the cops basically suck at doing any sort of actual, the justice system in itself. It's like, oh, you let the guy go. Like just here in Indianapolis, like a recent grad of IU was going to go see his folks for a baseball game in the city, gets shot by a 14-year-old kid as he's leaving the downtown parking garage. And again, like a lot of these parking garage infrastructures are absolutely terrible things that should be destroyed. But, for his Honda Accord to be stolen by a 14-year-old kid, of course, they're not going to tell the race of the kid. But I mean, it's terrible that, a 14-year-old is going ahead and killing, a recent grad or anybody like that this sort of stuff is happening in our cities. And then there's no real sort of consequences to the root causes of these sorts of things.
That's when you need to start talking about economics, is because that's kind of the funny part, is because like I was talking with my wife about that, and the thing is, a lot of the Democrats will just do infinite welfareism, and it doesn't solve the crime problem. Like I'm totally fine with welfareism. Like we have a ton of economic issues that need to be addressed, but a bare line minimum is that you're going to have to be tough on crime, is because that's what it's going to take to actually clean up these cities. Yeah. Like if you try the pure welfareist like solution, you're just going to get a bunch of people who are just drags on society continually.
And we've done this since Lyndon Johnson. It has been a complete absolute failure. I mean, look, there's countries that do welfare and it works out. I mean, even Singapore has its own form. We keep talking about it. Has its own form of welfare, and everybody there has more or less a house because. And this is a government that is highly capitalist in a lot of aspects, but it also understands that like you have to provide people basic levels of living as well. When that's kind of the issue. It's like with the crime in cities, like what happened with Irina Zarutska, getting brutally stabbed and massacred on the
you can't have that. Nobody's going to use
the Charlotte light rail.
If that happens.
Yeah, it's like, well, this is something that's been talked about for years, and then like a couple of weeks after that, another girl was burnt alive on the L line in Chicago. And it's like, this sort of stuff, like if we're not tough, if there's no consequences, no changes. I keep repeating that phrase, like no consequences, no changes. It's like if there's no consequences to these people, nothing is going to change. It's like there's just no other way about it. And of course it's like, okay, let's hear it. This guy was released 32 times. No, actually 35 times, but hey, close enough.
I don't understand how judges do that. It's like you'll hear like feds and like cops like go after some random jackass for saying offensive shit on the internet, but then they'll let somebody like bond out and parole out 32 times and they kill 32 different people. It's impressive how like our judicial system just lets people back on the streets, but then they'll like throw the book at people who are mean on the internet.
Yeah, no, it's horrifying. Yeah, but if I do roll a red, a red sign, I'm sorry, a stoplight or something like that, then cherries and berries are blaring up against me, and I got, some fat cop who barely passed his physical, can't shoot anything 10 yards in front of him. His Glock is gunked up with Cheeto dust. Go ahead and give me a ticket. Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. And a lot of these people are like, I'm sorry, like, look, I have family who are cops, but I mean the system of cops that we have right now. Look, I mean, me and my wife just like love watching. We love On Patrol Live every Friday and Saturday. We love watching that show when it was what was it? Whatever it was before it got nicked after George Floyd. But it's like it's like we see. we see these cops like working in, and like I love shows like Cops and Miami Vice and Heat and all that sort of stuff. And like I wanted to become a cop for a long time, but like just knowing how now the system has become, it's just like no. I mean, this is
the problem is that like low-level enforcers can't really do much about it, is because they're not the ones pulling the strings. You know what I mean? It's like, they're not the ones calling the shots. They're just kind of doing their job, and they're going to get cleared out if they go against their orders, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, so it's definitely top down. That's really much where it's going from. And I forget there was a Supreme Court decision, I believe, in the state of New York that basically barred people from becoming cops who had high IQs. For the reason that they're going to become bored from the job. It's like, well, if you don't have people with high levels of IQ, which correlate with high levels of morality, you're going to get a low morale, very sort of Latin American like cop system like you see over in Mexico, where everything is very corrupt. And that's what we're going to get here in the United States because of that. So, I mean, it's sad. Honestly, our justice system should be a heck of a lot better for what it is in the United States. I mean, there's some little glimmers of hope. There's some sheriffs that are good, but I mean, like we're talking about far and few in between. Yeah, I mean, I can go all day on cost, but I mean, we came to talk about infrastructure, I guess. So it's like,
but the thing is like cops and policing is very much intertwined with actually reviving like urban centers. So it makes sense that we kind of got on this tangent. Like, one of my honest opinions.
Oh yeah.
Is that like, one thing I do like, and I do watch a little bit, is that judges do live stream like public trials. I mean, it's a public trial after all. Like the public should be allowed to watch, right? People are making a public case. It's like the whole gag order put against reckless spending. It's like, that's fucking stupid. As soon as you start involving criminal complaints, that's a public trial. Okay, by definition, it's a criminal complaint against somebody of an alleged offense against the people. Okay, so it's a public trial. Stop trying to gag order everybody. But you have those stupid ass corrupt judges that just want to silence people through a retarded, gag order. And you need to vote these people out. You need to get these people cleared out of offices, because the fact is, if they're going to do shady gag orders to shut people out from publicly speaking, that should raise like infinite red alarms, red flags, like right off the bat, that they're trying to basically run a kangaroo trial.
Yeah. I don't know. I just make it a point at this point. Anytime I vote, anytime it's like, should Judge so and so be considered? I just put no on every single one of them. That's all I do at this point.
Remember when people were like saying we need to put body cams on police officers, and then like that kind of backfired, is because it kind of just showed up like that. Like a lot of cops, like 95% of the times, are just kind of like defending their own lives against like people being jackasses or whatever. Right?
Oh yeah.
I think it's probably a similar effect.
Yeah, I think a lot of this should be also done with judges, where we can see like, well, who's actually funding them and that sort of stuff. There's a lot within the justice system that is just completely. There needs to be really serious reform in that, and it's not like reform to the level of like some woke leftist saying it's like, oh, we need to go ahead and put in social workers. Like, are you nuts? That is not going to make any sort of real change whatsoever. It was funny the other day. I was like in Meyer, and like somebody had like an F-Ice shirt. It's like, yeah, F-Ice too. I mean, like I wish we got like the deathcore that they were telling us that we were gonna get, like some deathcore Krieg, but we never got that. Oh well. And he just looked at me, just like astonished, and then didn't like say anything afterwards after like high-fiving me. But I mean, it's like you guys are not like, people on the left are just not ready for the reality of what's needed to really fix this nation. And I don't know if it's just baby boomer Department of Education. Or whatever it is, it's just like, no, it's like we need a lot to really fix this up. And it doesn't mean like, oh, we need to go ahead and start marching out there or whatever. Like, no, it's like there really needs to be like some serious reforms, starting from fixing the family issues in this country. It's like people need to start having family wages again. Forget 15 minutes.
Get better internet.
Yeah, we need to get Alistair better internet. Get him paid better so we can get him better internet over here. It's like, somebody please. So he doesn't have to keep going ahead and spending an hour in traffic. Yeah, I mean, like that's the whole thing. It's just like
exactly.
Nobody has time anymore. What was Bowling Alone was a pretty good book. I forget the author now, but I mean, a lot of people are now so atomized. Like the hour that people you would usually spend after work to go to a bar or something like that. It's a nice thing in Japan that they kept. It's a little bit crazy where they'll go ahead and they'll go until midnight going drinking with their boss, but it's something that used to be a thing here in the United States, where people used to go afterwards after work, have third places and activities to be able to work with other people or go bowling or go drinking or whatever. And get to talk with other people.
Is the biggest. The thing is because the Anglo-Protestant work ethic is basically so deeply ingrained, and actually, I don't know if that's so much that. It's because the fact is people just can't honestly admit that, like, okay, maybe something could be done more efficiently to be beneficial to civilization as opposed to just making it like a personal virtue to just like sucking as much dick as possible, right? And sucking as much shit as possible, right? Because the thing is that, like, we get, like, I remember, like, go to Walmart. It's like, you go there, they got 2 fucking lines open or whatever, right? It's like going out the wazoo. It's wrapped around an aisle or whatever, right? And the thing is, it's like part of you wants to say, like, what's wrong with you just opening up another lane, like payrolling somebody else? It creates a job, makes everything more convenient, more efficient for civilization, but they don't want to do that. And so they basically cut cost on payrolling somebody, and they pass the cost of waiting in line to your ass. And if you complain about it, you just, you're just not a strong-willed individual, and, you just don't know what true struggling is, or some retarded gay shit, right?
Yeah.
They'll go down on like some personal attack saying, like, how dare you point out something wrong with civilization? It's because you're not working hard enough.
No, and then it's terrible when you go to Walmart or any of these places, and like you see the greeters, and they're, again, some boomers have been really screwed over by the system. Like you'll see like some really old person there, like they can barely get out, like, welcome to Walmart. They're struggling to even eke the words out of their corporeal form. And it's like they're paying them basically as minimum wage as they go. The company knows they'll stay there, and whenever they say jump, they're going to ask how high. It may take them 5 hours to get the sentence out, but they'll still ask. And it's just terrible how people are being used. And like the term consumers is such an anti-human term. I hate when people keep saying the American consumer. It's like, no, these are people, and I get it. Some people, I make fun of like some people and stuff like that, but it's like, we're talking about human people, human souls.
Boomers. That's the funny part. It's like people think I'm a little bit harsh on boomers all the time. And I made a post on my community post section. It's like, all right, boomers, we're gonna make a deal, okay? You know what? You get to keep your Social Security, you get to keep Medicare, and you'll get your property taxes abolished on one condition: you give up all your secondary properties. You get to choose whatever property you have along your 9 Airbnb rentals. You get to keep your favorite one, no taxes, whatever. But the other ones are going to be handed off to like young families so they can just kind of settle down and like have a normal standard of living, right? And they're like, well, that's not mean enough to boomers. I'm like, I'm not out for blood. I'm out to fix civilization, buddy. Yeah. There's a lot of hate for boomers these days. And it's like, don't get me wrong. I can't stand boomers, but I'm not out to screw people over.
Yeah. And I get it. It's like, look, a lot of them are very addicted to comfort, make decisions based solely on comfort, or, are not self-aware of their own actions. I get it. I understand. But like, there's even people in my own family who, are very good boomers, and I understand that, like, a lot of people in a lot of families, and I've seen, just other friends who have family members who are terrible to them and are terrible boomers, and that tends to make up the majority of them. It's like every time I do a stream and I talk about boomers, because I have a couple of boomers who also watch my show, I have to always go into this whole Nax alt disclaimer. It's like, not all X are like that, and there's the only group of people you have to kind of tell that to. Because you can make fun of millennials, and I get it. Millennials are cringe when it comes to, a lot of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Zoomers can't spell. Apparently, I've learned that at work. But I mean, look, it's like we can do a lot better if we work together. We have a common enemy that it's taking advantage of us. It's a lot of these parasites that are taking advantage of the American soul here. So it's like there's a lot that needs to be done. And we can work together better if we're not at each other's throats, or if we don't have, it's all about me.
Exactly, and that's why I like having these discussions. I'm an autistic like retard. I like talking about infrastructure. I like talking about like district cooling. I like talking about high-speed rail. I love talking about tram rails, because I want to imagine a world where, like, if you're like, just trying to live your life, and you could just kind of live minimalistically, where you could travel across the United States by taking a high-speed rail, or decide to go on a vacation from like to Washington State for a week or whatever, right? Like a low-cost vacation for just ordinary people. Like, you're a young guy. I don't know how. I think you're probably like late 20s, early 30s. I don't know what your age is, right?
The thing is, you
don't have a lot of. Yeah, early 30s. We're like, we don't have a lot of money, is because we're in our early 30s. We're probably just like somewhat towards our careers and all that sorts of stuff, right? So like low cost travel, where you can, like, if you're like, I know you just had a kid, and congratulations on that one, right?
Oh,
that you could take your family out to go across the country without like bankrupting you. This is why I think, like, this is an investment for future generations, is because the fact is that's the world I'm imagining when I talk about this infrastructure, a world worth living in, a world worth fighting for. That's what I imagine.
Yeah.
And that's why I like having these autistic conversations about district cooling, putting like roads underneath the ground or whatever, right? That, active like, ventilation systems to pull out CO2, right? Is because I like talking about engineering a better world. I like having these discussions about these things, these niche ideas that, I probably watched on a YouTube video like a year ago, and I finally got the chance to autistically spurg out about it on a live stream with some random person on the internet, right? I like having these discussions. So
Oh yeah, no, I agree. And that was the funny thing. The first video I ever saw, I mean, I think you believe you talked about about bringing nuclear energy and building high speed rail. Which is funny. It's like, what is this Griffith avatar talking about? Like, building all this good stuff. And it's like, it's funny because like I've had this Guts avatar. And it's like, but I've had enough happen in my life that I deserve the Guts avatar. So no, it's mine. I've read Berserk since like middle school. So please, it is mine. So I mean, it's just funny that we're now like both together here, just like talking about this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And just saying, it's like
I caught the thumbnail. I was like, okay, I guess this just kind of works out,
Yeah, it's just like, but it's just funny. It's just these are all these are all ideas that we can all agree on that just makes sense. And it's funny when you see this sort of stuff happen in the rest of the world, like in Spain. Spain had done a amazing job in building a high-speed rail system throughout the entire nation, which Spain has about the same population as the lower Midwest, and similar population density. So it's like, when people talk about like, oh, you can't bring high-speed rail because the United States is too big, it's like, dumbass.
China's an exact opposite example.
Can you look at like,
I'm just not gonna listen.
Yeah, it's like, look at different regions, look at different states. That's what you have to look at. When you're talking about connecting the United States, we're talking about connecting different regions together. And the United States had the largest, most expansive, and the best system of passenger rail systems 100 years ago. And now we've completely fallen by the wayside. And the best example of that, Brightline, is also in dire straits because of the stupid loaning system that we have in the United States. But I mean, the thing is that what Spain was able to do was build out entire system, and they have like more or less a sort of capitalist system where other corporations can go ahead and now run their own high-speed rail systems on their rail lines, and also make a profit and make a business out of them. So it's funny where the Europeans have more of a free market system than we do when it comes to infrastructure, to the point that somebody from Madrid to Barcelona can go ahead and pay €8. I kid you not, they can pay €8 to go ahead and take like a lower tier high speed rail over to one way. And it's like, imagine having that sort of thing here in the United States, where I could pay $8 to go from Indianapolis to Chicago, but you can't with the airline lobby that also, back in the 1980s, Southwest Airlines, because in Texas there was supposed to be a TGV system, Train Grande Vitesse in French.
They canceled
so in the 1980s, the French were trying to build a system there called the Texas Triangle. Southwest Airlines lobbied it and killed it in the Texas Senate, saying, oh, this is going to be competition for us. It's like, well, I thought we were a free market system. Isn't that the whole point of it, is to have competition? It's oh, no.
This is why democracy is retarded. And I'm going to go on a bit of a rant for that, is because they do these little over-socialized like PR smear campaigns against things that they don't like, instead of, and they'll use emotional manipulation to get their argument across, right? This is why the left got puppeted by big corporations for a decade, and they still don't want to admit that to this day. They even, like Larry Fink, talked about the woke being like a social experiment as well, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that like this is kind of the problem with democracy. And I'm not going to say like, okay, I'm going to propose a better system, like, oh, we should have like a dictatorship or whatever, right? But the problem is that when you have this kind of like game, the democratic system incentivizes this kind of over socialized bullshit where you try to push people out of the discussion by these stupid little smear campaigns. It's quite frankly fucking pathetic, but it's what people do when they want to basically push people out of the discussion. What was it, Spirit Airlines? I don't remember what airlines you said did that. It doesn't surprise me. They're like, Southwest Airlines. It's like, boomers did this shit with like nuclear, like TVA. Somebody brought up in my chat, is because I've talked about it a couple of times on my channel. It's like, they're like, they're blowing up nuclear fission power silos, or they're just cooling towers or whatever. It's saying like, we have destroyed one of the worst forms of like energy for the entire thing. And these people are like, smugly like patting themselves on the back that they were destroying like one of the few energy sources that has absolutely zero carbon dioxide emissions. It's impressive, but they will do this little over socialized like smear campaign to basically, shut shut down discussion. It's a combination of groupthink and thought terminating bullshit. And eventually, you just got to put your foot down and just not tolerate their bullshit. Eventually, you got to basically stand up to this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I hate that stuff so much. That's the problem.
More people die in an hour on just I-95 alone than have ever died in the entirety of nuclear power. The whole thing is an absolute farce, and it's just ridiculous. And I mean, another thing here in this country is that people fall for this type of BS rather easily. It's like whenever you see like a Ford or a GM commercial and they're raw Americans, like, oh, we're here for the American worker. But then you watch like a documentary like American Factory that came out, I think like 10 years ago. You see the exact opposite. Like you see a hatred for the American worker, which is funny because before consumer, people used to be called workers or laborers here in America, and it had more of a connotation. I mean, I was reading Quadrissimo Anno.
They changed them because of communism. I know, because like,
which is funny. It's like this used to be a term that we used to say here all the time. But like even like it was Pope Pius the 11th writing this, and it's like there needs to be respect for the worker and the laborer, which there isn't anymore. It's like we calmed down the term down over to consumer. It's like because now they just treat you like literal cattle. That's again the same word that a certain group of people use. But I mean, the irony about this is that American companies have done such a disservice to America when, especially the big three automakers, and how they take advantage of getting all these bailouts and getting all these concessions to keep themselves afloat. Like if you want to buy American, buy a Japanese automobile. Our biggest employers here for automobile manufacturing, in Indiana, are Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. That's if you want to support the American work, which is sad because your internet died again.
No, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay.
No, so like the reason why they change it to consumer is because the fact is it's a humiliation rituals. Because the fact is if they make it sound cool, if people start having a common banner that sounds semi-epic, it's like the fucking Grasshopper movie. Or like, why, Roman slaves didn't have a similar uniform is because if they saw like how strong they were unified, they would rise up against them. And that's the reason why they do this shit. Is because the fact is they don't want like a common symbol of association. That's why they came up with like humiliating and degrading terms like, consumer, human resources, is because like you said earlier, just goy cattle in a sort of sense. They're just cattle. And so if they keep it humiliating, they won't rise up because it's a humiliation.
Yeah, it's actually disgusting.
And the best thing you can do if you want to stand in an act of defiance against the system, it's quite simple. Don't give them their satisfaction of humiliation. And that's the reason why my haters hate me, is because I don't give them an ounce of that satisfaction whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that's a side tangent.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like we have to move our politics past 2016 talking point. It's like we are in a sort of metaphysical war between good and evil here, which is like we're going against our people who are very secular. They don't believe in the human soul. They believe in taking advantage of other people to suck out as much as possible because they don't really believe in an afterlife, or they believe in a version of an afterlife that gives them permission to do this sort of stuff. And the problem is that here in America, America is a Christian nation. That's without a doubt. Not to add any sort of hyphen to it, because there is no hyphen to it. And it can be argued that the
I like that little insert, the hyphen.
A lot of the founding fathers were deists, but understandably so. But the soul of America has and always will be a Christian nation. And it's like the thing I love. I used to go travel a lot of times for work.
That the Zio boomers really did was like the hyphenation of Christianity, and that's something that like most people took for granted until like as time went on, realizing that was like a completely like artificial thing, like insinuated. And you look at the history and like, no, there was no hyphenation originally. I don't mean to be rude.
Hyphenated Americans in general. It's like it's something we gotta stop. And this is somebody whose family has come from a communist country. My dad came over from Cuba. My wife's family, part of her family, came over from Poland when it was being taken over by the communists. And it's like, we get it, but it's like, look, we're Americans, and it's like, we can understand and love our ethnicities, but we also understand it's like we have a common ethnos and a common grounding here in the United States that has to be protected. Which again is why I'm a big nationalist. Is that we have to defend and protect American values, and one of them is giving people the freedom of movement means not keeping them a slave to the automobile, which a lot of these companies make money because they're leasing out $80,000 Jeep Wranglers to people who don't know any better, or these giant trucks that just are pavement princesses, have never touched a speck of dirt. And they're just...
I love those things. They're like 120K too.
Oh man, no, it's ridiculous. Every time I see these big trucks, it pisses me off. And it's like, look, I've bought my own vehicle. I've never leased or loaned a vehicle. I've always bought it just outright. Like, I have the cash. I've saved the cash. Hey. It is mine. The title's in my hand. It is mine. You cannot take it away from me. Go ahead and try. But it's just sad what American culture has turned into now, where it used to be like in a Midwestern state, there would be so many different manufacturers. Indianapolis had like 24 automobile manufacturers alone. Duesenberg, I believe, was like the largest employer in the state. And FDR didn't bail that out back in the 1930s. He bailed out, again, the big three, but not, the small craft automobiles, which, again, being somewhat of a distributor myself, I really do believe that there needs to be more smaller industries. You cannot have these giant consolidations happening around, which in the railroad industry, the biggest one that we have right now as a threat is the Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern consolidation, which would make the largest railroad probably on the planet, but in the United States, who would cover like 40% of the market share, which every time these sorts of consolidations happen, it has always been worse service, higher prices, worse off for the workers too. They get worked to death. And then Union Pacific goes ahead and says, oh, well, it's going to be better for everybody. We're going to lower prices. We're going to no, this is a lie. You guys have lied. Every single time this has happened, we're not buying it.
As soon as they get like the one up on you, they just start raising prices like every fucking company does.
No, it's like the airline industries. They did this. Like, they held the country hostage like a Metal Gear Solid villain during the COVID. Saying is like, you have to bail us out for $52 billion or we're going to lay off workers. Oh, thank you for the money. We're laying off the workers anyway.
You
fell for it again. Award. It's just,
if I had like the power to do it, I would literally arrest Larry Ellison and I would drop him from the helicopter into the Ganges River, like unironically. In fact, I would tie him to the cable and just dunk him in and out like over and over again until he died of sepsis.
That would be the least of it. Yeah, no, like these people like Buffett, Ellison, Bezos. I mean, the crazy thing is like, what's the best out of them is Musk, and he's just kind of this dweeby guy who's kind of accidentally became a millionaire. I mean, look, I've driven a Tesla.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos.
Fun or whatever, but I mean, it's not earth-shattering.
It's kind of gimmicky. Jeff Bezos is another one. Mixed opinions on him is because like the thing is like, okay, Amazon is probably like.
Oh, your internet clocked out again. I think Bezos heard it and shut down.
That's all it is. That's all Amazon is. Impressive. Uh-oh.
There you are.
I guess so. When it comes to Amazon. Okay, cool. Yeah, the thing about Amazon is that, like, if you really think about Amazon is just basically an incredibly efficient logistics company. That's all it is, right? So he actually created something, right? Obviously, I don't agree with his lobbying policies because he has tried to lobby for a minimum wage to shut down small businesses, right? He has engaged in shitty behavior. Like when he was going on in front of that, like, I don't know, CNBC or whatever, anchor, basically like, well, I'm free market competition. We need to have more competition. I'm like, that's cute. You were basically manipulating the government like 10 years ago to basically shut down small businesses through like wage or like minimum wage hikes and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you're on thin ice, bro. You've done something, but you're not as bad as like Larry Ellison or Larry Fink. Okay, Larry Fink's probably the worst amongst them all, but
Yeah, and it's terrible. Like these companies, like Walmart, they're paying less taxes on these massive swaths of land that they own and sit on for their stores. They're paying less in land taxes than a small mom and pop shop on a main street does. Which is, again, these are lopsided regulations that shouldn't be existing. There should be regulations to, not have these sorts of large, giant businesses over. But, if some guy with $1 trillion and a T-shirt comes over and comes to Congress, gives you $50,000 to go ahead and pass a bill that you haven't read, Yeah, that's just what happens now in our country. It's the corporatocracy. Which small thing that gets me is like every time somebody says corporatism, like that's not corporatism, that's corporatocracy. Corporatism would be something else entirely, which would be a lot different than what you're seeing right now. Not going to get into like Gentili or anything like that, but anyway, I mean, it's like, look, this is just
Giovanni Gentili.
Yeah, there's a lot that just needs to be fixed in our country. It's like, look, there's just good ideas, pragmatic good ideas, that we can just.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Just please, I just
forming
want
a coalition based on these ideas. Is what I'm in. That's my intention, is forming a coalition on these ideas. That's why I talk to both sides of the political aisle. If you don't end up becoming like an over-socialized midwit, being like, this person believes that, like, I don't give a shit, man. Like, let's just have a discussion with the topics at hand instead of getting stuck on the nitnoy. But that's how it always starts. It's like, okay, we got to basically cancel the entire discussion because somebody said something or whatever. It's like, I don't care. Get over it, bro. Like, have you seen the average Twitter feed? Like, this is such a waste of fucking time. Go argue with the neo-Nazis on there, man.
Yeah, I just go on there just to crap out a shit post in there. I'm not even that that engaged in it. Like, I tried, I did the whole, get the check mark and whatever, but it's like, okay, it's honestly, and the thing is, I was so much more active here. It's like, look, I'm busy, I got a family, like, I'm trying everything I can. It's like, at the very least, I'm at least trying to do a live stream a week and just keep the message going and keep our guys engaged. And doing something. At some point, I have to get back to making an actual video and loading up Sony Vegas and actually going through the whole rigmarole of. And the thing is, I just get bogged down in the artistry of it. That it gets to a point where it takes more time. But it's like, look, it's like I just got to do it. At some point, I got to sit myself down. It's like just do it. I mean, these are the sorts of ideas we just need to just start getting on. It's like we need to just get rid of our petty little differences. We're in this nation.
Agreed.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not moving anywhere. I am, born and raised Italian American. My mom was born here. Part of her family was one of the first people, Spaniards.
Yeah,
that
like
moved over
word
to
of
Florida.
skill. Let's be real here. It's like, the Chinese favor their own. And so, like, we're kind of stuck here.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the funny part, is because, like, it's amazing, like, how America is, like, the backup for everybody else. But, like, where do Americans go when their country gets tracked?
It's like, no,
that's something I've talked about a couple of times.
Where am I going to go? I'm going to go back to Spain or Italy or anything like that. Like, I'm not going back there. I'm not going back to France. It's like, no, this is my country. My roots are here. Yeah. Certainly not going back to Cuba. That's a whole other issue. I've never been there. I don't care about it. It sucks. It's sad, but I mean, like, look, it has less to do with communism, more to do with like the country's just retarded economically. It's like you're surviving on sugarcane and cohibas. It's not working. It's just obviously it isn't. China is a communist country, or so they say, and they're by far
they're also very ethnically centric.
Yeah. They're at this point they're far more powerful than us economically, which is sad. It's like we've had the chance to do things. Probably one of the saddest bits.
The fucked up part is that the Chinese aren't replacing their working class with foreigners.
They're not going to going to Ahmedabad or Mumbai to go ahead and go to Delhi New University and picking up a couple of new hires from there that obviously have on their resumes. They worked at Uber, they worked at MasterCard, they worked at Goldman Sachs, all in the same year, and they were all architects and SAP engineers. Yeah, sure, okay, yeah. I've seen enough resumes at this point because we're trying to hire and we're trying to hire locally, and it's like they find a way to sneak through and say like, oh yeah, I live here. No, you don't. Please, no, you're not. So it's like, I'm actually taking my time to go to every single resume. It is not hard to hire somebody or read every single resume. So for every HR floozy out there that's saying, oh, we have so many, no, you're lying. You're being, you're just being, you're lying. As simple as that.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. They know exactly what they're doing.
They want to cut costs. They want to stick it to the American working class to basically prove how replaceable Americans are, and just kind of like stick it to there, right? And that's the interesting thing, is because we're getting to a point where the infinite offshoring and the infinite boomer asset inflation is coming to an inflection point where it's literally not a survivable outcome at this point, right? You have large swaths of discontented people that are maybe 2 steps away from the thing about it is that, like, this is going to come to an end.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because my favorite hater, my favorite channel hater who thinks I'm like a Hassan Piker clone just showed up, J8809.
Oh, man.
Would I be talking about anti-immigration if I were Hassan Piker? That's cute.
Look, sign me up to fight Hassan Piker. I mean, I can gain like 10 pounds to get to Hassan Piker. I'm 175, so I can take him on. Give it. I mean, have you seen him kick? I mean, oh goodness gracious! Like I've trained 3-year-olds that can kick better when I used to be a karate teacher. That was, oh my goodness. But anyway, yeah.
The worst of all is probably Destiny. Destiny's like the absolute fucking worst, dude. You want to talk about like.
Yeah,
he's like an inverse Hassan Piker. He's like he's got like the head of a man attached to like the body of like a 10-year-old. He just looks limp and withered away.
That's the thing
kind
about
of impressive, like how somebody can look that physically disgusting.
And that's the thing about the left that just makes me laugh. It's just like how dysgenic a lot of them are, and how like it's just I'm very much a big firm believer of treating your body as a temple, and sort of muscular Christianity, you can say, like at the gym every day. It's like that the very basic, life sucks. I get it. Maybe you can't pick up chicks, but at least go ahead and at least pick up 225. Get to a 225 bench press. It's like, just come on, just bare minimum. Just get to that. Try it. At least one plate, at least something. But I mean, like this, it's like, at least control the things in their life that we can control. It's like, I get it. Things are hard. Okay. Having a family formation, having a job. I get it. I've been there. I've done that. I mean, I've had a fiance that died from a seizure. I get it. It's like, and you have to start all over again. And I understand how things are hard right now when it comes to a lot of men dating or getting a job or family formation. Understandable, but you have to keep fighting. Life is suffering. You got to keep going. That's just what it is. So at the very basic minimum, it's like, physical conditioning is a non sequitur. You just have to do it. Destiny makes Fuentes look tall. It's crazy. One of your viewers said that. Yeah, I mean, goodness, that's another character that just pisses me off. Is Fuentes? It's like at this point, it's like it's obvious he's an absolute plant at this point. I mean, come on, the I always love the moniker, the Mexican child leader of the white race. That's always funny to hear. Oh man. Sitting in his basement in Chicago or whatever. I mean, look, he had some funny moments, but I think his time is done.
His time has been over for a while. Like most people, like Fuentes is mainstream. He's kind of been normified. He's like I've always kind of considered him to be like the Hassan Piker of the right. To be honest, he'd probably get flip his shit if he heard me say that.
Oh goodness,
but he's basically the Hassan Piker of the right.
I don't know. I don't do sports betting, but I would bet Hassan Piker over Fuentes at that point. that's something I would bet on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hassan Piker looks like he's a pretty big dude. Fuentes and like Destiny, very like small creatures. Man,
if I ever want my wife to get ticked off, I put on a Fuentes clip or something like that, and it just completely irks the shit out of her. And it's like he's just so weak and just ineffectual and effeminate, and it's just like he's not effective. And I get like
you could tell he's like a closeted gay dude. It's like the thing is that like I remember when he first went on his Tucker Carlson stream, and it's like the first thing is like when he's going to talk about migrants, the first thing he wanted to talk about was women. It's like, okay, don't get me wrong, we can talk about shitty behavior.
Is he going to bring out the cat boy? Where's the cat boy? Yeah. Oh, man,
I don't remember, man. But
life can be suffering, but it doesn't have to be.
Get married one day.
Yeah, it's like it's what it is. It's like sometimes it is, and sometimes you just have to enjoy the good moments. It's like every time I come back home, I see my little baby boy. Just hold him in there. I see his little smiles. Just enjoy those little moments. It's like there's bad moments, and good moments.
I did a couple of collaboration streams with like a couple other people like MRAs and Red Pillars and stuff like that. Like, it's okay to be completely aware of like how things can go south with the relationship, but eventually like you do need to form a civilization.
Yeah, and it's like move on from like 2016 talking points. It's like this is like a tired thing. It's like at some point people just need to have some sort of self-responsibility, and it's like, I get it. It's bad, but you got to do something for yourself.
You want to settle down and have children and have a family.
Yeah.
But they should.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Well, I don't know what else we're going to talk about over here. I mean, I can be up all night. Fridays usually, and I got to stay up to take care of the kid until like 4 or whatever. So, I mean,
it's all good if you're. if you feel like this is getting on a bit long, I was thinking that too. I was going to hit it right at the 90-minute mark. I think you've been streaming a little bit longer than me, so I can kind of understand why you'd want to go ahead and cut it off. But like, I was going to go for about 6 more minutes.
Yeah,
it's
we can do
we
can do 6 more minutes. Yeah,
right.
and then I'll invite my guys back on, and we can just have some more discussion. But yeah, let me see if there's any like questions in your audience. We can probably answer over here. Let me see. Oh wow!
Yeah. Anybody want to ask him some questions?
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just like let us know. I mean, this has been a pretty good stream so far. Been loving the energy.
It's been a very good discussion. Like, the thing is that like as much as I talk about rent-seeking parasitism, and I can kind of rant and rave about it. And of course, that's kind of like where a lot of my base came from. The thing is that like I like to talk about solutions. I want things to get better. I want civilization to get better. Because like the thing is that you could go you could go full French Revolution chimp out at the end of the day, okay? And that's not going to fix everything. Like, you could do bloodshed all day, but eventually, at one point or another, you're going to need to rebuild civilization, and that's just an inevitability. You have to basically recognize it. It's kind of funny. It's like when the United States like left Afghanistan, where the Taliban got pissed off that when they reasserted power, that they had to have office jobs like everybody else, like after they took power. Like, it's impressive. A lot of people have that mentality.
Yeah. Oh man, it's more nation building. I don't know where this whole thing is going to go with Iran. I am pretty sure Netanyahu is going to flip out because he has every reason to do so, and we're going to restart again. I mean, it's been what, like 38 different times that there's been some sort of peace deal. But yeah, it's like in this sort of situation, it's like
a waste of time.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
Waste of time.
Absolutely terrible. But yeah, we have so much in this country that we have to worry about. I mean, heck, even our own defense industry, and I worked in the defense industry, especially in the procurement part of side of it. Yeah, especially like part of the stuff that I did when I was working at Cummins. Was working with procurement for like parts and engines or aftermarket for the Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, which okay, yeah, I get, like, everybody hates the Bradley, but it's like it's kind of there. It works to what it is. It's just what it is. Unfortunately, really yeah, strikers are better. I get it, fine, but it's like, look, I got to do my job. I got to get these guys parts. That's it. But it's like our defense industry is just so clonked out. And I did some work for some marketing work for a company that basically was recycling missile pods. Because that's how bad we're at this country. We can't even make missile pods anymore. Tomahawk missiles take about a year and a half to make a batch of them.
You want to know why? It all goes down what I said in my reindustrialization of America video. It's because the fact is you have a crossroads between the cost of living crisis driving up the cost of labor. And nobody wants to have an honest discussion about that. We've reached that inflection point where it's just literally logistically infeasible because boomers in their 9 Airbnb rentals and BlackRock on why it's actually like financially and logistically infeasible to manufacture things in the United States. And until that uncomfortable question is answered, it's like, unfortunately, it's like, it's gonna, like, if you wanted to have the most peaceful solution to the property question, you just have to mass build homes so that everybody could get afforded, and you would have to pop the property bubble. There's no beating around the bush on that.
Yeah, okay? It's gonna happen. And look, that's the industry I'm working in right now, is in real estate. So I mean, yeah, look, and at least look, the guys that I work with, absolutely great people, and they're the least from scummy, which is good to have at least. And that it's like, at least there's people in this industry that at least are not trying to take advantage of other people, and they're trying to do at least the best that they can. But it's like there's just so much bad actors within the whole economy as a whole. And like, and I see it, like, I've been in so many different industries, and I see what's going on. I've been in the lobbying industry, I've been in the infrastructure, now I'm in real estate. It's like, yeah, I'm just trying to do what I can and just learning as much as possible to understand, like, what is the best way forward, at least for us, that we can at least share ideas and bring actual pragmatic, practical solutions. Because at the end of the day, that's politics. It's doing the best for a nation. And that's
the funny part is I could talk about Mussolini because you mentioned Giovanni Gentile and basically like his project, or like a national collaborationist project. And the funny part is, if you look at the modern Communist Party of China, or actually not even modern, I'm gonna be real with you, this is gonna be a hot take. The funny part is that like Mussolini's like fascist party and like the Communist Party of China probably have more, like Maoism has more in similar with Mussolini than people like to admit. They're both class collaborationist projects.
Yeah, I've said that China at this point is more national socialist than communist at this point. They keep the communism bit for aesthetics. That's That's really what it is at this point.
What do you think the stars on the flag stand for? Take a guess. What do you think those 5 stars stand for?
Oh man, shoot! I used to know this. Oh darn! Was it like 5 different points or something like that? I forget. Or 5 values.
The big star is the Communist Party.
Yeah.
And then one of the stars is like the national bourgeoisie. One of them is the small bourgeoisie. The industrial proletariat, and then also farmers. Like it literally is like a class collaborations thing. Like what Mao Zedong did in China was not that much different what Mussolini did in Italy. Like that's the funny thing most people don't like to admit. Economically, they were very similar.
At least the worst blunder that Mussolini did was invade Greece. I mean, the worst blunder that Mao Zedong did was, hey, let's go ahead and just kill all these sparrows. Oh, whoops! Here goes on the locust. Oh, 50 million people died. How did that happen? I mean, oh goodness gracious! What an and then the funny thing is that when people go ahead and say, well, China's our greatest enemy, it's like, wait. Who gave them all the weapons during World War II to defeat Chiang Kai-shek? Whose fault was that? Oh, wait. That was our country that did that. Great job again. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, the blundering stupidity that we've done in the past. I mean, like even like my father's homeland country of Cuba. The CIA funded Castro to begin with, and they're like, "Oh, whoops, we got to get rid of him." It's like, dude, you put him in charge in the first place. It's like now you want to renege on that. It's like, come on.
Kaiser funded Lenin, and that's so great. The Soviet Union was just basically
big part of Wall Street funded Lenin. The same guys as Robert Moses, William Levitt, and Louis Wirth. Same guys funded Lenin and. Trotsky, who came from Brooklyn. I mean, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's, oh man, I mean, it's just, goodness gracious.
The interesting thing about that, ethnic government, the first Soviet government, is that even later Soviet officials noticed that too.
Yeah.
It ended up balancing out after the revolution.
Oh yeah, and what did Stalin do afterwards that then pissed off all the Epstein class afterwards? Yeah, I mean it's just kind of it's funny how these things just happen over and over again. And I mean, goodness. I mean, the funny thing about the Soviet Union is this was another country that the United States pulled in a whole lot of money and then took a lot of FDR's New Deal was basically a lot of different Soviet type of different policies that were enacted here in the United States, and he of course took some. I would say the FDR administration would take some also from the Third Reich Germany as well. But I mean, it's just like, look, it's like different nations. Like you have to have a strong. It doesn't mean you have to have a large government, but you do have to have a strong government. And both my favorite presidents are number one. Jackson and Teddy Roosevelt, which both in statecraft and in their vision of where they came from. Andrew Jackson came from absolute dirt poor nothing, and rose to the highest level through the ranks of the military and into the presidency. And Teddy Roosevelt, came from a wealthy wealthy country, but also understood the plight of just the average normal working person, which is something that we don't have in our current elite class now.
This is going to be a politically incorrect statement on this channel, but here's kind of the interesting thing, because if you look at the most successful political movements, it's more or less like even going back to Augustus Caesar's, essentially getting the existing elite to basically fall back in line and just support the nation. Yeah. It's really simple. The problem is that when you have different lobbying factions that are basically trying to screw over one another, it's not exactly sustainable for a healthy society. And that's the problem. A lot of whether it be a nationalist party or a communist party in China, more often than not, you have to have something that basically keeps the elite in line. Not necessarily, you don't even have to go full getting rid of the elite. Because the thing is, you're always going to have an elite in every society. That's just
there's always going to be classes. That's just what the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some people are going to be better than others. That's just a natural fact of life. Some people are talented in running, swimming, whatever. You've heard this speech a gazillion times, right? And so, there's going to be natural differentials between people. Some people are going to be ruling society, some people aren't. And so, the thing is that you need to keep the people who are at the top of society in line to actually benefit civilization. And the problem is that our civilization is doing the exact opposite of that. We haven't kept our elite in line, and what are they doing? They're cannibalizing children and then raping them.
Yeah. It's terrible, and it's the thing. It's the whole thing about the Epstein files is that it showed that our nation and its children are for sale. That's in one sentence. That's what it is. And people know about it. I mean, even during like the UFC 250, during like the Logan Paul event or whatever, people were cheering for Sean Strickland. It's like Strickland already like knows about it, and he had a T-shirt that says like Trump is in the Epstein files. It's like, yeah, people know. It's like at this point, like they're just kind of enjoying the the 400 milligrams of caffeine bread and the circus sponsored by DraftKings. But I mean, it's like at the point, like they know, people know. It's like the average normie know. You cannot wake the masses up, but they're certainly going to rise. It's who's going to be in charge of that. It's like I'd rather a good person in charge. It's like it's a very simple. It's like we can have bad people in charge of people or good people. Just biblically, I mean, Christ mentions multiple times, like he said to people, he said to Peter, "Feed my sheep." 3 times. Like he this is a godly thing. It's like we know that most people are going to be sheep, and it's not in a bad sense or anything like that, but it's like, look, you have to have good people in charge in order to lead them, or else people are going to lead themselves to ruin in the charge of an evil person.
Yeah. A lot of people will fall apart, and this kind of goes down to the creative type versus, discipline type. Some people need an external order upon them, or they just fall apart. They go into drugs, alcohol, or whatever, right? Some people are not creative people, and, they need that discipline and order in their life, or they just fall apart. And a lot of people are like that. So, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. But it's been a productive stream. I've enjoyed the discussion. The only thing I hated is that my internet kept dying. That was probably the worst part of it.
We can always do this again. I probably got to have a hard cutoff at 11. I got to maybe probably see if I got to feed.
Oh, it's totally good, dude. Yeah. Absolutely.
No worries.
It's 11
this
and
has been
go.
Great. Any plugs you want to do, or I can do some plugs as well. We got a shill, so it's the shill point time.
Yeah, so this is an interview with the American Rail Club. I'll definitely be putting their channel in the chat, and so go sub to them, is because they like to talk about infrastructure and high-speed rail. That's the reason I wanted to do a collaboration stream with them, is because it's kind of coincidental that I sat in an hour traffic, traffic jam, honk, crazy, and I was like, I'm going to go home and talk about public infrastructure and how we can kind of avoid situations like that, how we can improve civilization to avoid shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, it was kind of coincidental, and it kind of worked out. But I did enjoy the stream. We'll probably do streams in the future. Like, you're invited anytime.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, and you're more than welcome to come over here. Yeah, this is a forum for authentic ideas, and that's what we try to be.
Yeah. So with that being said, I enjoyed your company. I'm going to go ahead and close off the stream. I enjoyed you guys in the chat stopping by, and hopefully we can have better discussions like this. I hope to see you guys in future streams and future videos. So you guys take it easy.
All right.
Peace.
Take care, everybody.